Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond Beats and Culture. I'm your host of cultural commentator, Chase the Dark Sage, here with my co-host.
P.
And we're back with another episode of Hip Hop Goodness because we are the most consistent hip hop show on YouTube. And we actually talk about the music. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the video if you have not already on your way in. And in today's topics, we are going to be talking about Sinners, Cushion Orange Juice 2, Ken Carson with his first number one, Ken Carson being the new little baby of this generation, Kendrick becoming that brand ambassador for Chanel, and some new albums that we have or projects that we have coming soon, like D2X, Mike and Tony Seltzer with Pinball 2, Roy Woods, and Nas and Massive Pills plan to drop 7 albums this year. But like I said, as usual before, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already, because we will have daily clips coming up on the channel in case you can't stay for the full conversation. But we also have timestamps in the description down below in case you want to skip to any other part of the show itself. But besides all that, B, how have you been since the last episode?
Oh man, B, I've been good, man. I been trying to get down on this deal we getting down with this house, man. Get the closing this Friday, and hey, I'm ready for this to be over with, B.
Hmm.
Seriously, it's a cool accomplishment. It's really dope. You know what I'm saying? You out here, you achieve an American dream, but B, is it worth it? This dream, B, is becoming a nightmare.
Well, you about to be
Well,
in there soon, so it don't
yeah,
matter.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, but overall been good. B, what about yourself, man?
I've been all right, man. Nothing really too much new. I'm trying to think if anything's happened. Some pre-orders for some vinyls had to secure that. Some vinyls coming in. A lot of my pre-orders are actually coming in this month. I know you recently had a live stream feature on Potty Mouth. Want to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
oh
that?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, come on, B. I forgot, man. Kicking it with the Potty Mouth family, man. Them
Mhm.
dudes right there, are hilarious. Got good, a good talented community over there, man. We got to listen to their music. Wish B could have been there, bro. We needed his takes.
Mhm.
He's the OG of the YNs right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Don't
He
call me a
understand it.
YN no more. Call me a young man.
Hey, he understand the sounds, I mean, he's all engulfed into the Ken Carsons and the Yeats and all them.
I'm
So
engulfed into YN culture.
B, this would be the perfect opportunity for you to listen to these YNs, you know what I mean? But no, I had a good time over there, man. Shout out to Potty Mouth for bringing me over there. Shout out to Forecast. He does Twitch, he has a Twitch stream and he actually do different challenges and things like that. And like they had the whole PM version of the O. It was pretty fun, man. It was if you get a chance to watch the playback, B, it's funny, bro. It was some good music on there though. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, y'all gotta send me some of these unreleased tracks. Dom had a dope track. Dom probably had the best track. Um, the aggression, the production he chose, everything, man. Hey, Dom was on that rapping beat. He went off. It was like a what's that one song that Drake? I'm like, right now. It's him and Rick
Popstar?
Ross. It's just,
Oh
I think
wait,
it was a
him and
Just
Rick Ross.
Blaze with Just
Oh,
Blaze.
Lord knows.
Lord knows, yeah, he did like yeah,
Uh-huh.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So yeah, he was in his bag on there. Dom had that
Okay.
aggression on there. Hey, you gotta check it out. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was dope, B. That was dope.
Well, yeah. Besides all that, B, what have you been jamming since the last episode?
Oh man, friend of the show, our first guest we ever had on here, Quadri dropped something like 2 weeks ago, I believe. It's he put a little EP out, it's like bonus tracks to the Ask Magnolia project. It's called the Special Episodes Volume 1. He put out 3 tracks, intro, back jumping, and the robbery.
Mm.
And it tells like the story, into Ask Magnolia of the friend that ended up getting killed, I believe. And he talked about the robbery and just the aftermath of that. And you could show his little he had back jumping. He had a little OJ the Juice Man reference. He was like quarter, hey. He put the A on the hook and everything. Got my trap back jumping. I liked it though. Quandary do his little flow, his storytelling. But then a robbery it was a short track. But that was my favorite track on it. I love the beat on there, and I love the little storytelling of the aftermath of the robbery. It was pretty dope. So that's one thing I listen to. What about you, B?
Uh, I know we both kind of listened to this, but Yeet put out a
Yeah.
new song, The Bell.
Yeah.
My boy
Yeah.
never left. It's like he's always just been here. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of the YNs right now. B, I'm sorry. He
Hella
is.
B, he's a YC though.
Nah,
Yeah.
he's a YN. Wait, what does the
Right.
YC
Oh,
stand for?
yeah, young cracker. Come on, bro. He ain't
I
no
thought it meant
YN.
Christian or something.
Hey,
Nah, he's a
nah,
YN
nah.
B. Hey, honorary YN. Hey B, he's invited to the cookout.
Oh no, 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 no. Man,
You
I'm hearing
literally
why.
told me that you was putting the apron on just for him to show up.
Oh no, I did not say that. Yo, the YN is that that term is getting it's getting too corporate, B. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's getting too
Is it getting
mainstream.
colonized?
It's
Oh.
getting colonized, B. You got the
Hmm.
whites saying it. You got people on
Uh-huh.
ESPN saying it. Come on, bro. They
Uh-huh.
use it in everyday conversation now. It's
Hey,
about
the
time they
YNs,
retire the
B.
word. We can't
Well,
be calling
hey,
Yeet a YN. He a
hey,
YY, right?
hey.
A young Yeet. I don't know what.
But all joking aside, he put out a new song. He's titling this album like, "Oh, this is the end of the era." It's called "A Dangerous Life." I believe this is the single off of it. He's been teasing the song. He dropped the song, really good song. He was hitting some little high notes that I didn't expect for Yeet to do, but he did, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, as a Yeet fan, the resident Yeet fan, we'll be buying this new album on vinyl, of course. We'll be listening to this album on repeat, of course. And is this truly the end of an era? Because I remember one of my other favorite rappers, Future, saying like, "Yo, like this is the end of an era," and then he still kept making similar music that he was making before. So is it truly the end of an era, or like, are you retiring the bell itself? Like, what are we doing with this new track, Eat? I don't know, but I really enjoyed this song right here. I was surprised that you enjoyed it, honestly.
Me too. I was like, he was playing. I was like, all right. You know. Then he got on the little like he did the hook and then he got doing it. What's that little singing he was doing? He was like, ah, he
And my
did something
diamonds
on there.
Major
Yeah,
League,
come
something
in.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, yo, that's kind of hard.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that kind of brought me in. I was like, let me play
Oh,
this
all
again.
my diamonds
I
speak to
mean,
me.
yeah, all that
That's
diamonds
what
speak
it
to me. Yeah, he was
is.
on there. I was like, this kind of hard. I had to play it again. I'm like, okay, I think I like it. And I was like, I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed, man. So it's a few Yee songs I like, you know what I mean? But I did not expect it like this. When diamonds speak to me. That got me,
Hey,
bro. I ain't gonna
hard,
lie.
hard.
I played it a few days ago. I was in the car with my girl. Like we was leaving
Mhm.
Target. I was like, yeah, I like it. This
Hey,
this so hard.
what you say? She want to read that bell, but she want to get effed. Ding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
He re-
okay, this is
yeah,
hard.
that was hard, bro.
Yeah.
All right,
What,
I give it to
what is
Yeet.
your next thing?
This is my
Hey,
next.
pause.
This
Wait,
my.
wait, oh, you not gonna pause that? I'll
Hold on,
give
what
it
I
to Yeet.
say?
You said I'll give it to Yeet. Hold on, hold on,
I
hold
give it
on,
to
hold
Yeet. He had a
on.
good
Nah,
song.
nah. What you give it to
All
him?
right.
What you give it to my boy Yeet?
I'm giving Yeet the props, man. The song was good. I give it to him. It's a
Uh-huh,
good song.
uh-huh.
But my last uh what I jammed this week will be by my boy Papo 2004, man. I talked about him
Mm.
before on the
You
podcast.
talked about him on the first episode of what we've been jamming.
And you know, the song, the song, the album I listened to is Wintertime 2.0. See, I talked about
That's the one that you actually
Wintertime.
talked about the first time. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So he kind of gave you the same, Pablo, he gonna do his thing, bro. Papo 2004, he is a rapper that's his tone doesn't change. He has this deep voice. The production, he works with Subject 5. This guy has a lot of range of production. Like he can give you some modern stuff. He can make it boom bap. He can give you like some upbeat stuff. Like that's what I like about him. But with Papo, he's gonna do him on all this production. And it sounds so well to me because I like the tone of his voice. And his rapping is not like, oh, he's like the best rapper ever. But he's a really tolerable rapper. The production on here stood out to me the most. He only had one feature. That's from Laura Apex. I don't know if you ever heard of Laura Apex. You ever heard of Laura Apex? He's a rapper from out the UK. He's dope though. I like Laura Apex. He's dope. I remember him back in the SoundCloud days. Um, but
Yeah, that
this
definitely does sound familiar.
yeah. But this project right here, bro, I really enjoyed it, man. I don't know if he could do anything wrong. I didn't finish. He put out another album too that I didn't finish yet. I might talk about that next week when I actually finish the album. But this wintertime, man, he had this one track on here, bro, called Funk Doctor. The production on that. I just love how he flowed on that joint. I'm like, come on, bro, you gotta check him out. B. I don't know if you'll be a fan, but just gotta
Mhm.
hear him out. You gotta hear him out. Some of these artists I talk to that you never heard of, sometimes I just want you to listen to one song. If you don't like it, it's fine. I will not defend these artists. I just want everybody to check them out. So if anybody never checked out Papo 2004. Check him out, man. He's really dope. And this is his last project. It was what was it called? His last project. It's called Popaholics Volume One. You know what I'm saying? It got a mixtape feel to it. But this one is Wintertime 2.0. And I think you guys are really enjoying, man. He's a unique voice out there. Go check him out, man. Papo 2004 and one. Doo-doo-doo-doo. That's what he say, bro. That's one of his little and one.
What his little ad libs.
One of his ad libs, bro. But nah,
Okay.
check him out. Papo 2004. And this was Subject 5 also on all the production. Wintertime 2.0.
All
What you
right.
got, B?
I'm gonna run through some of the stuff I listened to.
All right.
Like I said last week, I was on the little Young Jeezy kick. This week, I kind of continued it with one more album. I wanted to listen to TM 103 because I haven't heard it since like middle school or high school.
Mhm.
Went back to it. This one wasn't it for me. To me, out of the first three TM 101s, because I haven't heard the fourth one at all. I've only heard a few songs off of it. This is the weakest of the TM 103s, and I get where Jeezy was going at with this, but and I know I shouldn't expect like Jeezy to have that hunger in him, but it's like a lot of stuff that made the TM 101s and 102 special. It was like stripped out of this. Like, yeah, there were some really dope songs on TM 103, but this is an older Jeezy now, and he's more so going into that more mature path in his career to where it's like, and I also didn't feel like this album is subtitled The Hustler's Ambition or whatever. Didn't really feel that vibes either from this. Like, I'm not expecting trapped out Jeezy or anything like that, but you're gonna have to give me some bangers. You're Jeezy of all people. And so this one just didn't hit for me. Shout out to my boy RB Reyes. He put me on this project called Sugar Deluxe, but I believe his name is Kyle Dion. Really enjoyed it. Had some like funk elements. It's an R&B project itself. Really enjoyed the singing on here and the actual instrumentals themselves. Really, really dope project for me. I actually got to go listen to more of his stuff now because he is now on my radar. I love when my boy RB Reyes puts some artists on my radar, and I'm like, F, like this was really good. Like not F isn't a bad thing. Like F, like this is I didn't expect this, and like why didn't I been hear this? But speaking of RB Reyes, this is another person that he kind of introduced me to. Alex Isley. She put out a new EP. I talked about her before, and I know you are familiar with her as well. She put
Mhm.
out a new EP called Win EP, and it's more so in that her like vein, like HER, like the music artist. It's more so in that vein of R&B. And so it's only like 6 tracks. It's like less than 25 minutes. Really dope songs. You could tell some of the songs on here was meant to be like a single for this project right here. I forgot the name of it, but I think it's called like Goody Two Shoes or something like that. Really enjoyed this project. She definitely, like I said, is in that vibe or vein of her. Really enjoyed this project right here. I got to keep going back to my music board, man. Music board keeps track of all my stuff. Next project, Burprint 2 HD. Been on that trap kick, like I said earlier. Had to go to another Gucci Man project. This is the project that he released while he was in jail. This was like during the blog era, like before, like he came out after this, and it was still the blog era, and he was still doing his Trap God stuff after this. But Burprint 2 HD, it was cool with the first half. I think it's top heavy, and what it is that second half it just becomes a bit disjointed for me. To where I was just like, this really isn't a consistent, cohesive sound that I really enjoyed from the first half of this project. And the last project I listened to, I know, guys, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna land the plane. Uh, Propane and Slim Thug. Now, the project is called Double Cup. I was not anticipating this project. I was not going to hear this project. But one of my coworkers knows I like hip hop music. He knows I'm kind of in tune. He said, "Yo, you heard that new Slim Thug and Propane?" I said, "Usually when it comes to Slim Thug, I try to stay away from it because Slim Thug he gets in that very samey bag for me, that very slow samey bag to where it doesn't he nothing draws me to listen to newer Slim Thug music because it's like what have I not gotten from Slim Thug before? He's not going and like doing anything different, kind of like how Paul Wall and Bun B have when it comes to like going on Static Selecta like production or being with rappers. And so this project is exactly what you think it is. Propane to me is the star of the show with this. I really enjoyed him. He definitely reminds me of like a Killer Calion Jr. But yeah, overall for me, this project, I gave it like 2.5 stars out of 5 because it's exactly what I expected. Propane is the fun part of the project. To me, Slim Thug drags it down. And usually you have that like that balance between two artists. To me, I just didn't feel it right here. Like every time it got to Slim Thug, I'm like, eh. It was
He,
like, eh.
he was the unk, bro. He the unk on it.
Yeah,
Propane really be rapping. It's been a while since I listened to him, but he used to be rapping, bro.
same. I used to listen to him back in high school, him and LES. I
Hmm.
used to listen to both of them
Yeah,
in high school, along with like Kirk Bangs and all them.
man. Hmm.
But like nowadays, I'm like, they're not doing nothing different enough for me to really like want to listen to their newer stuff. Cause I'm just like, it's
Yeah.
the same old stuff. And like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll just say this. This isn't for me. There's gonna be people that enjoy this. What are some bangers on here? Yeah, but it's like there's nothing that makes me want to go back to this. But yeah.
And also shout out RB Reyes, bro. He recommended me some stuff, B. He
Okay, okay.
hey man, he recommended me E Jones. He's a producer.
Hmm.
And it was really dope. What I did was just to fill him out. I just listened to his top songs on Apple Music, and I'm like, yo, I'm rocking with this, bro. I couldn't get too much into it because of my son was like, he's not rapping. Sometimes I like my son hear hip hop beats because I play jazz for him. I could play like watercolor, like stuff for him, and there's
What's
no
watercolor?
rapping, like watercolor jazz or like some ambient type of sounds.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
guess I never heard of
and
that term before.
yeah, and he could listen to it and he'll be like, he'll be chilling. Like he'll be like, all right, this mellows me out. But if he hear like some hip hop beat, he'd be like, what a rapping at? So I
Hmm.
had to change it because he was dead on like he's not rapping. Like I don't want to hear this
Hmm.
if nobody's rapping. But I was rocking with the production man on this. I was like, oh, shout out to RB Reyes, man. So I'm gonna check out E Jones his albums. I just want to fill out a few songs. Like I like Rooftops. He had the Toothpick Boogie was dope, and Come Home with Me was a dope track as well that I liked on here. So man, dope shout out. I mean, dope recommendation. He also he tried recommend me
Hmm.
I already knew about him though. I talked about him on the pod before. Primo Rice.
Oh yeah,
Primo
yeah.
Rice. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
P
talked
got
yeah.
game.
Yeah,
He
because I
tried to
listened to
recommend
that
you that one.
because I listened to one of his albums this year. Did I talk about it this year? I think I
I'm not
did.
sure.
I listened to it, but I don't know if I talked about it on the pod.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been knowing about Primo Rice for a few years, but I was like I
Yeah,
told
I've
him I
heard
already
of
know.
him, but I never got into him.
Yeah, he falls in that like Larry June lane and stuff like
Mm.
that, currency. But now the E Jones dude is dope, man. I'm gonna check out more of his stuff. But shout out RB Reyes for that. I know he give you all the fire recommendations, bro. He
Hmm.
hit me up, man, and sent me something like he said he listened to the pod, and he was
Yeah.
just like, yo, I heard you listen to I was talking about different producers and stuff in the beginning of last week's episode. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot to talk
Hey, he's
about
giving
that.
us recommendations tailored to us. See, I like that.
Yeah, yeah, that
I
was
like
dope,
that.
man.
See,
That's dope.
that's a tastemaker for real right there. Shout out to Arby
Oh yeah,
Reyes, a true tastemaker. But
yes
yeah, that's been
sir.
about it for what we've been jamming. Let us know what y'all been jamming down in the comment section down below. But now it's time to get onto the hip hop news slash musical release section of the show where we talk about all things that's current event like within the hip hop space itself. But let's go ahead and start off with some of the music releases and announcements. Mike, Mike, all caps, and Tony Seltzer, Pinball 2B, May 7th. You hype?
Am I hype? Nah, but I'm gonna listen to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check it out. You already know that. I
Did you
love the
pre-order that
last
Mike
look.
vinyl?
Nah, I didn't even get it, B.
Mm.
You get it?
Nah, because remember I told you my stuff was messing up. It wasn't getting
Yeah.
my address and all
I
that.
so when they did that, I didn't when you was telling me that, I was going somewhere. I was driving to go pick up my car. I was
Hmm.
actually I think I was in a lift. Yeah, I was in a lift, I
Hmm.
think. But I was just like, man, you know what? I'm not even gonna buy it. Cause my girl already heard what I was telling you that I bought, and I'm like, I'm not even for the,
Mm.
she been tripping. Talking about, wait till we finish. I'm like, all right. All right. So if I find that on resale or if it's still up, I'll cop it. But I'm gonna check this out, of course, bro. I like the last one they put out. It had like what, like was it like 7 or 8 songs on there?
Yeah, I
On
think
their
it had that
last?
little trappy bounce to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I like
You
that,
put
bro.
me
Some
onto it.
some right, right. I think was it the first mic I introduced you to or no?
Yes, but I
It
already knew of
was?
Mike before, but that's what the first thing you recommended me to listen to.
Right, right, right.
Because I
Because I
already knew
said
about Burning Desire, but I just never listened to it.
right, right, right. Because I said you might like this, so I recommend you that one because it was more bouncy. You know what I'm saying?
It was more
Yes.
alley. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Next piece of news or music releases we have Roy Woods, Dark Knights, April 25th. Now, this is something that I'm actually kind of excited for because I haven't heard Roy Woods in a long while, but he captions this real situations, real betrayal. I'm ready to share these moments with you. This is so Drake like. This
Did
this
he
is
drop
this
some?
felt Drake like.
Did he drop some last year?
I I'm not sure, but I haven't listened to Roy Wood since I was in college because this type of atmospheric like R&B, especially from that quote unquote Toronto sound, was something that I was really getting down with back in college. But
He
yeah,
dropped
I'm not sure.
he dropped Rolling Stone last year in December.
Did you listen to it?
Hell no.
No, I know.
I knew he dropped something though,
hmm you
but
gonna
nah,
listen to this or no? I know I'm gonna listen to it.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Bro, B, you didn't even listen to the last one.
yeah,
Check out the
true.
last
But I
project.
didn't know that he
Hey,
dropped though.
hey, she got too many drunk with her friends. He got too many drunk with her friends. Gotta let you
Next piece
crack
of
me
news, and this is
up.
like huge news right here. Nas and Mass Appeal plan to drop 7 albums from seven legendary acts. We got Nas and DJ Premier as one, Mobb Deep
Mhm.
as another one, Ghostface Killer as one, De La Soul as one, Big L, Raekwon, and a surprise guest that everybody is assuming is Slick Rick. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was talking to one of my coworkers. I was like, that Slick Rick one is the one I'm a bit iffy on because I'm just like, I mean, the Big L one I'm iffy on too, but that Slick Rick was Lonnie Donnie. Oh, we like the party. I came through with the story. I got them on the body. Like, I'm not trying to hear that on modernized production. I'm not B. I'm sorry. I'm not. But I
See,
know that
look,
I told that to my coworker. He said he got some cool stuff like when he came out of jail that one time. And I'm like, oh, you talk
yeah,
about the songs that he got with Outkast now. I'm like, I like that song that he got with Outkast, but that's Outkast. Like, I'm gonna like that. Like, I'm sorry, but he's like, check out that album. That way you can see like if you might like
behind
enjoy the full one.
it's called Behind the Bars.
Yeah, I
That
think
joint,
so.
that joint dope. Look, B, do you think that Mobb Deep project is the one with Alchemist?
I think so. I think with Mass Appeal, they're just putting it under that labels and like
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
it
yeah.
out. But
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
that
Like,
is the
yeah.
one that they're working on because as they've been working on this one, they've been saying, "Oh, Nas has been in the studio helping work on it as well." So
Hmm.
I think this is the one with Alchemist and Havoc heavily working on this one. I hate to say it like this. I said it on Twitter where I was like, that Mob Deep one and the De La Soul one, the Big O one are kind of more so like half posthumous like because you're working with older vocals or older songs that have been already like used and things like that. Especially with the Big O one, I'm really kind of afraid of that one because it's like you're just I think someone said that they're just re-releasing a lot of the freestyles of songs that have not been released, basically. So
Hmm.
I'm just wondering how this is actually going to pan out. But obviously, I'm really hyped for the Nas and Premier one. Raekwon, I'm also hyped for to a degree. I liked his last project that he came out with.
Hmm.
Ghostface. Hopefully, this is like the Ghostface that I liked on the Radar freestyle from his recent one recently. But yeah, the other ones like De La Soul, I know we're going to be missing one of the members. I believe Troy, right? Troy the Dove.
That
That's the
passed
one that
away.
passed.
I
Yeah.
gotta
So
clarify. I gotta
yeah, I'm not
confirm.
sure. If you guys want to clarify, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to remember the names, but there's just so many hip hop acts that it's hard to kind of keep up with them. And also R.I.P. Prodigy as well. We talked about Mobb Deep's sophomore album last week. But yeah, this is dope. I really like that Nas is getting into this bag in his career, career wise in terms of like business venture wise and like putting out all these dope projects right here. How do you feel about it, B?
I think it's dope, man. Like, we seeing hip hop age gracefully and we seeing some of these older artists actually put out music and like we have a whole segment, dedicated to him called, the Unk segment. So this right here, when it comes to like Ghostface, he's more consistent. Nas been more consistent. Raekwon, when last time Raekwon dropped? It's been a few years.
I think 2019, The Wilds or something like that.
Yeah. And De La Soul haven't dropped they haven't dropped since 2016 as well. So, it's dope. I hope hopefully that let's say if Nas put out a Big Daddy Kane joint, you know what I'm saying? What if you put out some Kane? I think that'd be dope. Cause I don't know last
I
Big Daddy Kane album that came out.
When was the last one that came out? I
Let
know
me look it
one
up.
thing. I don't want to say like this. B. I hope he comes. I hope it's like a LL Cool J thing, not where you relearn, but you kind of get on this modern production and you fit well with on it. You get what I'm saying? I don't want you to have any type of dust in that pen. You get what I'm saying, B? That's just me.
My last I mean my I said my last. His last album came out in 1998, Veterans Day. Veterans Day. 1998.
1998, like the year, like that's not the
Yeah,
album name,
yeah,
right?
1998.
B. That's
1998.
his last album. Like nothing in between that. Now and then.
Yeah, nothing.
B. His absence in hip hop. is older than
Oh well,
probably
he
some of the
had
people that's in the hip hop.
he had a collaboration in 2013, Back to the Future with Last Supper. That's this last. That's 2013. But him by himself, last album, 1998, Veterans Day, is what I'm seeing on Wikipedia.
Which one would you rather hear? A Big Daddy Kane album or a Slick Rick one?
Big Daddy Kane. Just because he
Same.
haven't put out a solo album since 98.
Same.
And come on,
Next
he's
thing.
more of a he's a better MC.
I'm not gonna hate you on that. B, your newest favorite artist of the year, Ray Vaughn, his debut mixtape, The Good, The Bad, The Dollar Menu, April 25th this week. You hype?
I'm gonna check it out because I wanna see what the young buck got. I think it'll be dope, a good look. Maybe you wanna review it, B? I'm down to.
I'm
You don't want
down.
to?
I'm down.
I I think
Nothing
because
has interested me in Ray Vaughn. That's the problem.
yeah,
That's why.
that's why
It's
I think
another
this.
reason situation for me. Nothing has interested me.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is a good time to like get introduced to him. This is first, I guess, project that's out. That we know for. I don't know. He probably got some mixtapes out there, but I'm down to check it out and cover it. B.
Debut mixtape.
You say what?
It said this
This
was
is
his
debut
debut
mixtape.
mixtape because
Yeah.
I bought something from TDE one time and they sent me like an ad list or a newsletter email and they said, "Oh, his debut mixtape," and I'm like, "All right, it's supposed to
Yeah,
be like a story type of album." I don't know.
all TDE stuff go to my spam.
I need to do
It
the
just
same
goes.
thing.
It just
No,
goes
I
to my
actually
spam.
I think I actually unsubscribed after I got this email. No disrespect to Ray
Mm.
Vaughn, but I'm just like I don't TD. I'm ready for that J Rock though. And
Yeah.
last thing we have before music releases this week, D2X confirms his new EP is done and dropping in May. I'm hyped for
Okay.
this. Even though I thought
Of
the album
course.
was next up, I'm hyped for this.
Hey
Is
man,
this something that we're
he
going to
got
be talking about on the show, B? Because we actually talk about the music?
of course. And D2X the homie, man.
Yeah,
Gotta
facts,
talk about
facts.
that. You know what I mean?
Facts. Boy got a
Um,
Wikipedia page now. He about to blow up and forget about us. That's all I gotta say.
most
He about to blow up and forget about us. He got that Wikipedia page now.
you got the
It's
Wikipedia,
over.
bro?
He got that Wikipedia page. He brought it up on Twitter one time because I saw his actual name on it,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, oh, D2. I'm like, I just made the whole
The
connection. I'm like, I
connection,
get it
yeah.
now. But yeah, B, go ahead, tell us what's this thing that's dropping this week
Hey man,
that this looked nasty. I saw you put this in the notes, B. I just quit the notes app that day. I was like, nope. Mm-mm.
come on, man. I'm checking it out, man. We got Belly Gang Cushington, aka Albino Jeezy. The streets is our, you know what I mean? So we gonna take it back. We taking it back to this is the motivation, you know what I'm saying? This is the recession, but this is a new version, you know what I'm saying? We got Albino Jeezy himself. I don't know. I think he kind of dope, bro. I never really checked out like a full like project from him. I'm pretty sure he got some stuff on streaming services. But all the little songs I be hearing, I'm like, hold up, man, I'm kind
Is
of
this the one
vibing
that
with
has that
this.
For the Shooters song? Like he has
Yeah,
that
yeah.
For the Shooters video,
For
right?
sure. Yeah. He the
I think I've
albino
only seen
Jeezy.
one song from him, and I was like, "This." I feel like it's one of those things where it's like an Ian. When you look at Ian, you like, okay, but when you hear him rap, you like, huh? Like it's one of those. It's kind of like a Rick Roll. That's the best way I can say
Yeah.
it. I know I
But
probably aged myself horribly with that one, but
but
yeah,
they call him the ginger. What they call him a ginger a ginger, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, Jigger or something like
A
that.
ninja, a ninja, a ninja, bro.
Hey,
He's
that's
a
your
ninja.
man's B. That's all I gotta say.
Hey,
That's it.
I'm
That's
checking
all
it
you
out.
got. Oh, besides
Yeah,
the
that's
the Ray Vaughn project
the
and
Rayvon
Roy
and
Woods.
the Roy Woods. Yeah.
Yeah, but we already talked about that. But yeah,
Hmm.
let us know what y'all will be jamming or what y'all are hyped for, especially coming out of that little Nas and Mass Appeal drop, all them 7 hours.
Right.
Let us know what you think about that down in the comment section. Let's go ahead and get on to the hip hop news and current events. Numbers talk. Ken Carson finally gets
Numbers.
his first #1 album with More Chaos. You love to see it. This is just a stat reach that he could put on his resume now. Yeah, I don't care about numbers. I enjoyed the project myself. But B, this going #1, what does this entail for the future of hip hop?
Hey man, I stated it already, man. We in some watery times. It's hey bro, we hey, I think we slowly dipping. We need another Beef Kendrick and Drake part two. Come on, where y'all
No, no.
well, I'm
So,
speaking from the profit and the business standpoint because I feel like Drake and Kendrick gave it a resurgence. But if you look at the Billboard, it was all like, people that's been in the game for 10 plus years that's kind of been successful. So this dope to the young guy, but like who he has competition with, we don't I,
Yeah.
hip hop, bro, right now, we're gonna talk about it later, but like hip hop I mean, y'all gotta be honest, man. B, what? We talked,
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk
we
about it later.
talked.
I gotta see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was
Huh?
just saying.
And Kendrick has become a brand ambassador for Chanel. This is dope, but people tried to make this a Stan War thing. So I
Nah,
just wanted to say
man.
shout out to that. I know he started his GNX tour recently.
Mhm.
There was that clip of like one of SZA's dancers almost dropping her, which was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
People was
bro,
like, "This is lip syncing. She's not actually singing."
she better drop down them LBs, boy.
Please stop being misogynistic on the show, please. We encourage women over here to get those. But
All
yeah,
right,
I mean, becoming
B,
it's
B,
ruining the
B.
game.
But B, look. I'm gonna tell you this before we go forward. You see
Uh,
Lizzo, right?
yeah,
Lizzo was a former big body woman. You know what I mean? Everybody praised
big
her
back.
for it.
Mhm.
And now everybody praising her for losing weight. I'm like, I'm confused. But anyways,
It was body positivity. It's only body positivity if you like it, if you're positive about it. That's all. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. I don't know if you can have them both, B. I don't know.
I don't think you can. I don't think. Hey, what was that saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, it's my cake. Why can't I eat my
Hey,
cake?
hey, I'm just saying.
Hey, they say she been laying off the cake, B.
She been laying off of it, bro. She looking all right though. She looking good. Shout out to
Yeah,
Lizzo. This
people
all.
people
Hey,
say, oh, we should
this
have
all.
these discussions now.
This all we wanted. So people gotta stop acting like, man, this ain't the podcast for it. Let me chill.
Yeah.
What?
B, where you
What?
going?
Ain't
Talk about
going.
this ain't the podcast. Oh man, but let us know what y'all think about that news down in the comment section down below. But B, it's time to talk about music. The
Yes,
only thing that
sir.
we have to review today, and we reviewed the prequel to this a few weeks ago, so make sure y'all go check out that review if y'all have not already. Wiz Khalifa's is it highly anticipated? Kush and Orange Juice 2, a 15-year sequel to his mixtape of the same name that was basically to me his breakout mixtape, what, you know, brought Wiz Khalifa to the world really. And we now have Kush and Orange Juice 2. We've reported on this since last year. I remember that
Yeah.
little album cover coming out, and I'm like, yo, this is a bad looking album cover. B, I remember the track list came out a few weeks ago. Too many features. I'm like,
Mhm.
B, I'm scared. But I heard that Gunna snippet, and I'm like, yo, that Gunna snippet sounds a bit fire. But we know that snippets can lie to us sometimes. Going into this album, B, I freaking love this, man. B, I was jamming this whole weekend. I love it, B. I have to eat my words. I was wrong. Everything I thought that was gonna go wrong on this album, I'm like, F, it works. I enjoyed this. I know some Wiz fans came on here on the TL. Wiz has been doing this. You guys just haven't been tapped in. Well, yeah, Wiz has also released a whole bunch of projects since the blog era as well, and not all of them projects are like sequels or sound alikes to either a Taylor Alderdice or Cushion Orange Juice, Cabin Fevers, any stuff like that. So y'all can't expect for us to listen to every single thing Wiz Khalifa puts out. Now, I remember last year you put me on the Wiz Got Wings.
Hmm.
I loved it. But this right here, it feels like the successor to a Cushion Orange Juice, but in a modern like way with a lot of modern sounding songs, but it's still in that realm that it could fit well in Cushion Orange Juice. But B, go ahead and talk about it. Talk about your experience, please.
Hey, man, I was so shocked that I'm like, I'm like, I ain't skipped nothing. Like nothing gave me like why he do that? No, bro.
Now,
This,
there was like two songs on there, but I give him some slack because it was the two last bonus songs. But besides
hey,
that, though,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I didn't care about the bonus songs. I won through 17,
no, no,
baby.
no, no, no. Like the first two bonus songs was kind of heat, but keep
I
going,
ain't
keep
saying
going.
they, I ain't saying they bad. I'm saying I
Hmm.
didn't care about them. I was 1 through 17. That's the album to me. So no skips 1 through 17. I played this whole album, was like, am I tripping? That intro, like no, how and going to OT Genesis, because I'm like, where he pulling these freaking features from? Where do OT Genesis come from? Heat, crime, bud, and women. Heat, be the run from one to freaking dog. What happening? B. that run was crazy. And then Jet Taylor, dope with him and Currency. Not what problem on no problem on the other song,
Problem
bugging.
was on the
Problem
song
on
with Ty Dolla
top
Sign,
down
Top Down.
yeah, yeah, bro. That Max B though. Max B get into his interlude and then that beat drop with Wiz. I was like, all right, bro, hold up. This I was like, oh, bro.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I was like, yo, this joint is fire. Even the Juicy J joint, my bad. And he called it My Influence. And he's like,
Hmm.
yo, give me something old school. You know what I'm saying? I was
Hmm.
like, oh, yo,
Give
this
me that
hard.
Pippin man.
Like, so what I was thinking, I'm like, listen to this album. I was like, okay, I see what Wiz did here. Like, yeah, you see a lot of features, but I could tell that, he brought these guys into his world, but he curated perfectly. Like, I think these were songs that he worked on throughout the years, and he made sure he's putting out the best songs he can do and give you that cushion OJ vibe. And I was like, okay, it's no filler on here to me. Once you say it's like it's giving you what you want. Like if you like Wiz, you into that, you love that Wiz, that feeling of like the cushion OJ days, and just the smoking, vibing. Like he presented this so well. It didn't feel like, oh, Unc doing this. He didn't feel like out of his element. He didn't feel too old or nothing. He's still a young man, but like it just, I don't know, man. It was like, dang. Riding the car to this was also dope. Dog, Red Eye, dog, him and I like Larry June on that one track.
Cashed
Cashed
Out
Out, I
was my
like that.
jam, B. That's my
I
jam.
that song's so fire. Then the Chevy had a cold bar about like, hey, he said something about like, I ain't trying to fix no broke conversations. I was like, all right, bro, this oh, bro. I was like, I like that for. And then rumors that
Hmm.
I like the rumors with the track he talked about his mom and his sister. And I was like,
Hmm.
I didn't know Wiz lost his sister. I know that's
Hmm.
losing a sibling's tough. Like, so shout out to him on that. And the super duper high, not shout out on like losing your sibling, shout out on like actually expressing yourself on that track.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he left you out on something like, vulnerable, doing
Hmm.
everything to make his sister and his mom smile, you know what I mean? And then all through this album, he actually, he showed his maturity of shouting out like, I'm a father now, 15 years, a lot has changed. You know what I mean? And talked about his daughter and his son. And also on the super duper outro, I like the vibe of that. It still brought me Wiz, and hearing those names he shouted out from back in the day, and you hear Will, Lonnie, Breeze, all these guys, Ludi, whatever. And like that, I like they brought me back to all the, day-to-day vibes. So it kind of like, man, made me a little emotional in a way of like, dang, like we just reviewed this 2 weeks ago too. Him
Hmm.
having a 15-year anniversary and then dropping this. He did it well, man. I don't think he just chunked this together. He curated this really well and brought like the people like Juicy J, that also was an OG that came into his world, and Taylor Gang, and then bringing in Max B, someone he always talked about too back in the day, and actually having the interlude with Max B, The Wave. I don't know, man. This was just like it felt like a love letter to like just the Cushion OJ series. He said he gonna see us in 10 years, B. He said he gonna see us in 10 years, so drop Cushion OJ 3. So I really like this, bro, and I did not expect to like it this
Hmm.
much. And I
Hmm.
was trying to avoid all the noise on the timeline. I was not looking at it, but I'm like, yo, this was a vibe, bro. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I really like this. So shout out to Wiz, man. And look, B, before you start, I started the conversation last year, and I was not trying to say Wiz was washed. I was saying, what is Wiz place? Remember, I was trying to say like, what is
Yeah.
Wiz place? I feel like he's forgotten about or something like that. But like,
Hmm.
man, this
But
right here,
also, he
B,
was putting out a lot of
he
stuff.
was.
And that stuff, I know a lot of people was like, oh, well, he's been making stuff like this. You guys are just now getting hip to it. But it's like a lot of that stuff doesn't have the weight or name to it like a cushion orange juice. It doesn't have the nostalgia tied to it. That's the
But you
problem that a
also,
lot of people ain't really being real
but
about.
but also got people gotta understand like Wiz was was really hot. Like, bro, Wiz was on the radio. Like it was a point where you couldn't turn on the radio and not hear something off Rolling Papers. Like Wiz was killing it. So it was kind of I was having that conversation about the transition period of like Wiz getting older and like him not being talked about no more, him not really being in the limelight. It was kind of like it's like a Wale thing, but like Wale wasn't putting out as much music as Wiz, because Wiz was still putting out music, feeding his core fan base, and it was just different because I'm used to seeing Wiz more in the public eye, like on the radio, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a conversation I was just thinking about, because to me, Wiz is a legend, and he lived up to the name of the Cushion OJ name and that moniker. And this was dope, bro. I'm thoroughly surprised, and I'm really happy with this. And I think this is something I might have to ride out the year with too, B. I think this is gonna stay just something I just ride to. If I'm like in that vibe, I'm dipping off, gonna go to hit a store run. This is something I can click on and just play and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Even though,
Hmm.
and if I want to get into the bonus tracks, Keep Balling, I liked. I didn't really care for Khalifa House, like that start. Hide It with Don Tolliver. I think I liked. I think I liked that track.
I liked it.
Uh, Bring Your Lungs with him and Smoke. I'm iffy with it. I don't think I really like the production as much.
Mm.
And then Hit It Once and Hit It Once the version. I don't know how much you like those, but eh,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Those are the
So
only two songs I don't like on the album itself. But overall, for
yeah,
me, the only person that was missing on this was Big Crit. Like
I was
Wiz.
thinking about that too. I was like, what
Like, come
Craig?
on, we can get a Glass House 2 type situation happening. You
Mm-hmm.
put Smoke Diz on here, you put Currency on here. You ain't put my boy Crit though. Like, come on, what we doing?
Because they did recently drop some a year or so ago.
Like, I
Crit, they
think
did
two
that
or
little
3 years
EP.
ago.
They did
Yeah,
that like
it
EP.
was Crit, Dizza, and Wiz. I heard it. I forgot what it's called, but I still need to buy that on vinyl because that to me was like, what? Like this actually has it came out, which is crazy. And I believe it's like one
Hmm.
producer as well. But me personally going into this project, I love it. Like this is something like every time I played it, I'm not getting tired of any of this stuff. None of this stuff goes on for longer than what it needs to be. OT Genesis just being on the hook, I was like, all right,
Hmm.
cool. Gunna, like I said, this was the one feature I was really scared of. Gunna came with a fire hook, a
Hmm.
fire verse as well. Now that top down, the way that beat drops at the beginning when it starts off, Problem, aka Jason Martin, did his thing. Ty Dolla $ign did his thing on the hook as usual. Then we got Pimps and Hustler. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was afraid of that little Tyler verse. He did well.
Hmm.
He did well. And he showed that he got to give some acknowledgement to Unc. Like he's like, yo,
Hmm.
I'm in the booth smoking with Wiz Khalifa. Like I'm like, okay, I
Ah.
might be was hard. What's happening? Oh my gosh! And I was kind of scared me because at first I was like, is he not going to bring like the radio host back? Yeah, this is your boy Easy does
Easy
it, or
Red. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
This is the station WEED. I'm like, oh
Hmm.
yes, he brought the radio host back. Yes, that's what's happening when he's doing like was it the monologue at the beginning? Then he starts
Hmm.
rapping. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
Jet Taylor, a hard song. Max B's
Hmm.
interlude, like you said, that beat drop and then Wiz rapping after Max B,
Hmm.
hard. Red Eye, hard. My influence. Now this is the thing with this having like to me this is like the perfect culmination of what Wiz was doing during the blog era on the non-album side because to me this gave me some Taylor Alderdice to a degree, Cushion OJ, and Cabin Fever on this bad boy.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it because we had that Juicy J like give me some pimping man, and we got that Juicy J influence on like Wiz's like certain songs like like back on Cabin Fever, every night that's every day like songs like that.
Hmm.
Not as trappy, but also DJ Quick on here. I'm not gonna lie, B. I was scared at first. I was scared. I'm not that big of a DJ Quick fan, and sometimes pulling rappers from the '90s, getting them on here, I'd be scared, B. I'd be scared. He fit perfectly on here. No type of dust at all on that pen.
Hmm.
I loved it. Larry June cashed out. That's one of my favorite tracks. Be oh
Yeah.
my gosh! I'm like this to me. This is like the perfect song right here. Then we got Chevy Woods. Look and B. I was allegedly at work listening to this. You get what I'm saying? Listen to this. I wasn't like checking my phone for everything unless it was to like a song right before it ends. I heard the voice. I'm like, is that boy Chevy on here? Yeah, I looked at the feature. I'm like, what we doing? What we doing? And then we got Rumor, which I do enjoy that song, especially it being a more vulnerable, kind of like more introspective track from Wiz. Then we get Super Duper High, where he does his little rapping, but then he does a little monologue out, like thanking everybody, doing his little credits thing. Then we get the bonus songs, which really didn't need to be there, but he wanted to put his boy Smoke Diz on. He wanted to put Don Toliver on. Cool.
Hmm.
I like the first four bonus tracks. The other two, what was it? Hit It Once. I
Yeah.
could have done without that, but I don't fault that because those are bonus tracks. I'm cool with that. In fact, that whole last 5 to 6 songs was bonus tracks. But overall, for me, some of the producers he has on here, obviously, Cardo Got Wings, Sledgerin, AC the producer, Angel Jose, Cielos.
Hmm.
This was great. I have to eat my words. I was wrong. I thought this was about to be nostalgia bait. I thought he was just gonna bring us in and bait us in with the nostalgia, and this was just gonna be a
Hmm.
hot mess. This is just hot, B. This is heat.
It was
I
heat,
enjoyed it.
bro.
This is my favorite rap album of the year so far for me.
Your
Yeah.
favorite?
Yeah, my favorite so far. So far. There's room to knock this out. But so far, you hit me with the nostalgia, but also you gave me some really, really dope songs. Wiz is gonna give you what Wiz usually gives you, but on this type of production, he excels at it. I
Hey,
enjoyed this.
um, me listening to that Chevy verse made me want to go back to Red Cup music. I used to Red
Mm,
Cup music. I used to we make me we jam that mixtape, bro. Cause Chevy to me, he's him and Wiz be in that same pocket, but Chevy's a better rapper to me. Like
yeah.
Chevy get in that bag when
Hmm. Didn't he have
he
a mixtape called Gangland or something like that too?
he had gang. Yeah, did he? Yeah, he had Gangland 1 and 2,
Okay.
3. Shoot,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
he had
thought.
Gangland.
Because I remember
Now,
listening to that.
but Red Cup music though,
Hmm.
the cookout I think I like too. But now Red Cup music was something we used to jam heavy.
Mm,
Chef bags.
yeah.
But nah,
I,
man,
I really
I
I really
really
enjoyed
enjoyed
this,
this,
B.
bro. Facts, same,
I
bro.
really enjoyed this. But yeah,
Same.
y'all gotta let us know what y'all think about this down in the comment section down below. This whole weekend, I kept jamming this, and I'm like, even if
Mhm.
we're not gonna review this because we wasn't sure, I'm like, this
Yeah,
is still something I gotta talk about next week on the pod. But yeah,
got
let us know
to.
what y'all think about this down in the comment section down below. Wiz, he definitely gave me a great sequel, a great what do you call it? Not predecessor? Well, yeah, I think it is predecessor. But yeah, he gave me a great sequel with the Cushion OJ name. He did not disrespect it. I fully enjoyed it. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of the well, no, we have some discussions to talk about. Should we talk about Sinners first? Should we talk about that?
Man, we can discuss it, man. We can discuss the movie, man.
Because
Unless you want
it
to do
has
it.
some black cultural influence, some
Yeah.
elements, and
You want to discuss it? You want to discuss the movie first or last?
we can discuss it first.
All
We
right.
don't know how
You
long
know.
this conversation might take us. You know what I'm saying? If it
Yeah.
takes us too long, hey, we getting in that old pod bad, but we used to talk about
Hey,
movies and
fuck the
stuff.
movie. Oh yeah, facts. Hey, if it go too long, we probably could skip another topic. It don't matter.
Yeah. So
But
let's go
yeah,
ahead and
it'll
talk
be.
about Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan Sinners. This movie just came out. We saw it. I didn't know you was gonna go see it, B. So I'm gonna be real with
Hey.
me. With my job, I'm not off
Hmm.
until everything gets done, right? And so,
Right.
we got off at a good, decent time that day. It was Friday. And I was
Hmm.
like, I told him, I like to go to the movies. I'm a
Yeah.
big movie like goer. And so I was looking, I'm like, and then I will say this, when it came to the trailers for this movie, I'm like, interesting, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go see this. But I saw that it was playing. I'm like, F it. I asked my girl, I said, you wanna go see this movie? Because I'm like, there was another movie I was gonna go see, but I was like, let's go see this one instead. Because Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler have not disappointed me yet. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's go see Sinners. If you haven't seen the trailers, I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but I'll give you guys a spoiler mark of when we are going to start spoiling. But going into this movie, I thought it was going to be a vampire movie. I'm thinking it's going to be, like, oh, we're killing vampires the whole time, which that's what it was marketed as. But going into the movie, it was something very, very different. But plot wise, I feel like this movie, while it is great, visually is great, camera work is great, acting good overall. I like the characters as well. I love the world, even though it's a pretty realistic world. But I like the way that Ryan Coogler really set the tone for this movie, especially at the beginning. The first half of the movie before they actually, do the little juke joint. I'm like, B, I'm in there. I was
Hmm.
so in there, B. I was in there. But
Yeah.
I will say that second half, once certain events start transpiring and certain things and elements were introduced, it started to. I'm like, especially when they introduced it so late. I'm like, I'm getting scared. I'm worried, and literally what I was scared and worried for came to fruition. And I was like, F. This is the one part of the movie that brings it down for me. Now, symbolically, and like I said, we're gonna go talk about spoilers in a bit, but symbolically, I think this movie is powerful in what it was trying to do, especially with the conversations that has been initiating online and social media. But as a movie, especially surface level and having certain things connect, without the symbolism, I think that failed on its part, especially when introducing that one element that was marketed to us so heavily in the trailer. B, what do you think about this movie? Because I honestly love this movie. I enjoyed it, but I did not think narratively it was a great movie. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
I like the movie a lot, man. I only watched one trailer, so I didn't know about the whole vampire thing. I thought it was more of a what you call it, it was a selling point of like for the trailer, like I didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, I gotta watch this. I don't know what's
Mhm.
happening. And then I found out they put out another trailer that kind of like released a lot of information, pretty much showing like, people turning and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah,
But
which that
I
did
want,
spoil it. This is why I keep
yeah,
telling you, B, I do not like trailers.
yeah.
They give away
I
too
don't,
much.
yeah, I don't like watching them either. But my thoughts, like I said, I really liked it. And what made me want to go see it is because, like you said, Ryan Coogler, only movie I haven't seen from his is Wakanda Forever because I just don't want to see. I don't care for Marvel, so and I like his he's good at stories and character development, and that's one thing that I loved about this movie. And I think that was the part of like when you text me about how it felt like it's two different plots or whatever, like two different movies in one. Because I know that in the beginning, that first half is a lot of character development, a lot of like not kind of world building, like you said, is realistic. Like we know what the 1930s in Mississippi for black people was
Mhm.
like. So it's like it's not much you can build for the world, but you know what I mean. And
I'll say world introducing. That's the best way I
yeah,
could
yeah.
say it.
Anyway,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
but yeah, if you how you want to go now? Do you want to go into
We
the
talking
film?
spoilers, B?
We could talk spoiler because I gotta talk about the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I
you
don't
gotta
like
talk about the
yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I got
hey, B, give your overall thoughts in terms of like non-spoiler before we get into this.
okay. Cinematography was amazing.
Hmm.
Like I said, I love the character development. Oh man, Delroy Lindo character fire. Just bro, he was hilarious. B.
Was
The
that the like the guy that
the
was
drunk,
drinking all
yeah,
the time?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I won't call him the drunk
Cinematography,
unk.
yeah, cinematography on point. The narrative and the symbolisms, I enjoyed it. I like what it was given to us, and yeah, I think it was a good movie overall. B.
Hmm.
It's some stuff I dislike, but we gonna talk about it.
All right, hey, spoiler time. So if you have not dipped yet and you want to skip to another part of the show, timestamps will be in the description down below. Unless it's the clip. If this is the clip, this is your time to dip. B. Like I texted you when you asked me if
Hmm.
I'm gonna go see this. I was like, I feel like this is two different movies put together. And I get it. Some people were talking about the symbolism, thematically, what certain things mean. I gotta go based off of the surface level though, too. Surface level wise, I get it. You could tie in so many things when you're talking about themes and stuff like that. You could do that with a lot of movies. But surface level wise, some things in this movie just did not work to me. I told you
Like
it felt like
what you
two different movies.
what didn't work for you?
The vampire aspect. Take the symbolism out, B. Look at it from a surface level. Not even surface. Yeah, look at it from just like a surface level. Don't look at it thematically. First of
Hmm.
all, you randomly just had this vampire introduced. Nowhere about where it came from. No type of backstory. You just had this one random like vampire introduced running. He's literally smoking from the body. This is 1930s, B. Do
I
you
that's
not
when I
know?
knew that's when I knew he was a vampire. But I didn't know nothing about the whole vampire thing. I just knew something supernatural was happening.
But I
That's
knew that
gonna
was gonna
happen.
be. But see, that's the thing. I knew that because of the trailer. I only saw one
Yeah.
trailer for this movie, and it talked about vampires. So that's why certain things where I'm just like, I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, this is a vampire movie. But I'm like, everything before this, like everything setting up to actually make the juke joint, the barn. I'm like, oh, this is fire. And I was thinking in the back of my mind the whole time, I'm like, oh, when they introduce this vampire, it's not gonna work movie wise. Like thematically, and guess you could do all the themes and stuff like that you want, but
It
but surface level wise, to me, that vampire aspect did not
it
work.
how did but they built all right, so like when you
They
when
didn't build
the
the vampire up enough. That's
they
the
didn't build
problem.
him up, but this what they did. They used him like they was talking about the devil. It's a whole we know the history of when you come from black music in church, when it goes to being in gospel and you have it making secular music, and your grandparents always like, hey, you can't be out there singing the blues, doing the soul music. That's devil music. That devil gonna come and catch up with you. To me, that was setting up the supernatural. That was setting up that. Yes, it didn't build around where the vampires came from, but it let you know that something is coming for Sammy, something is coming for you if you continue to do this. So that kind of set me up for for the supernatural. Because I knew something was going on, but I didn't know
Uh-huh.
exactly what it was.
And
But
see,
I
the
knew
only
something
thing
was
I think that actually foreshadows that is the beginning of the movie, right before it says one day earlier. That's the only thing that you
no,
have to
but
really help you set that
not
tone, because there was
no.
nothing else introduced
My,
about a vampire existing in this
it
world
had nothing to do
until
with the
we saw
vampire.
that.
It's the devil and the evil. B, they was talking about evil and the devil and all that throughout the film. Even when it came to freaking who was Smoke? Smoke was Stacks. When Sammy was Stack the whole time, he was telling the story about his dad and how the family is evil. The evil's
Hmm.
gonna follow you. You can't the whole Qatar the whole time. It was his uncle
Hmm.
Qatar.
Hmm.
B, the whole thing was showing you the devil. It was telling you about something sinister coming to you.
Hmm.
You didn't feel that?
So
You
the
didn't understand?
problem
They was
is
doing it
when you
throughout the
have
movie.
something like a supernatural entity like that, you have to kind of like literally foreshadow it. Because if you just tell me about it, it could be like a Final Destination situation where you don't see something acting on things, but you know that the devil is playing in this world. You get what I'm
But
saying? So
yeah,
when you
I feel
introduce
you.
a supernatural creature like that, because I saw another movie earlier this year about a supernatural creature where it left me wondering like, where does the supernatural creature come from? How does this thing exist? Like I get it euphemism wise how this works, but without the euphemism, without the symbolism, it should still be able to work on its own, and it just don't. It that part falls flat to me. And
Yeah,
you know
I
I'm a
had.
big supernatural creature type
Yeah.
person.
I had no problem with it because the foreshadowing to me was there. Even when you go with Smoke and he talks to his wife or his ex-wife that he had the kid with, she had the whole supernatural thing. Him having protecting him with the I don't know what the necklace he had. It all
Mhm,
was built around that voodooism stuff. It was all
mhm.
foreshadowing about certain things. I'm like, B, you not peeping up on this, B?
But
You
see,
weren't
no,
picking
the
up
thing,
on
the
it?
problem is, like I said, there has to be foreshadowing, as in like show me little hints and things
I
like
know.
that of this world actually happening. Because B, you just telling me something, all right, cool. Like it could work because people do that in real life. But having an actual monster in here, that's what made it a different play for me in that situation. Because I'm just like, okay, where does this vampire come from? Where does it originate from? And yes, if you do give it an origin, you risk the point of it like sounding stupid to a degree. But also, it's like where did this vampire come from and why is there no one else, why is no one else a vampire too? Why are you the only
Yeah.
vampire running around? See, there's too many logical things where I'm just like, and then how are you running during the day? How are you running on foot during the day, B? Yes, I
He
know
was
the sun
burnt.
was falling down, but how are you running on foot from Native Americans that was on horseback? How did you outrun them? And if you were to fly, that means that you would have to have seen the sun while flying and you would have been burnt to a crisp.
I think, look, at this point, it is a film. I can get into logic. It's a lot of stuff I could pick and like, oh, at the end, they had so much time. The monster could have been killed them. You know what I mean? The vampire, he could have killed them. But at this point, it's also a movie, B. You thinking too logically with
No, but
this.
I'm
No, no,
I'm
no,
using
no,
the logic that
no.
the movie gives
I
me in this
no, but
situation.
look. I'm not gonna make an excuse about the freaking vampire running and the sun hitting them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Mhm.
Because I understand. But I knew he was smoking, he was going to a burn, but like, it's a film. You got to get him in that house. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
my look,
and I agree.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
agree.
So
I
look,
get it. That once that happens.
I
Mhm.
get that too. I know you wanted to hear more of like people saying, "Hey," like probably foreshadowing, saying like, "Hey, it's at night. Things get a little crazy around here." Like you wanted some stuff like that. I get you. I feel you, B. But I only thing I think takes away from that, which I said you don't want it. Didn't you say you don't want to use that as an excuse of the symbolism because the for the vampire was white people taking sucking the culture out of blacks.
Correct. Correct.
So when you look at it in that situation, it's like I just wanted to tell a different idea from a this perspective of like black art, just from a different using like a sucker, like a vampire sucker,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. I just wanted to use that as a metaphor, as a analogy. So I didn't really think too logically of like, okay, where this person come from, what they doing with this, blah blah blah. I didn't really care for that because I kind of understood like what he was going for that. So I understand you, B. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm like, it's a little nitpicky. It's a little nitpicky.
But B, that's the thing though. Like I said, this movie is mismarketed because of certain things like that.
But I'm saying I think the marketing was supposed to be suspicious. Like you didn't know what was going on. From the first trailer, I didn't know what was happening. You just see them, the brothers, the shots they use. So I only watched that like teaser trailer. I kind of avoided everything else because I wanted to go into this movie without knowing what was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Watching this movie, I knew it had a lot to do with it had a lot to do with music, and also from the opening scene, it
Mhm.
had something to do with something evil, you know, something evil. The sinners, blah blah blah. They call you sinners when you doing music in church or whatever, secular music. So I'm like, okay, whatever's gonna be what's happening, it's coming for Sammy. It's coming for the musician. So that's
So,
all I needed. I needed that
mhm.
marketing to be mysterious for me.
So the thing is, like I said, I watch movies. The only trailer I saw was the one with the vampire in it.
See, I didn't see that. I
And
didn't see
see,
that
that's why I'm
trailer.
saying the marketing was off in that situation. Because, like I said, when I first got into the movie, I'm like, oh, I'm liking everything. I'm like, and the vampire hasn't hit. That's where I got scared, B. was when I was like, this vampire has to come in at some point in the movie. I'm like, there's been no foreshadowing about this. Like, yes, I get the foreshadowing of saying these things and it happening, but it doesn't, to me, that doesn't work when you just say something, but you don't actually show little signs of certain things of that thing like finally coming to get you. Because then that kind of blindsides you. Say you don't watch the movie, say you don't watch any trailer for it. When you first watching that first 30 to 40 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, okay. Then when you see a vampire, it kind of throws you off. Like that throws you off because it was just like out of nowhere, a vampire.
I
And
don't
like
know.
I
It
said,
didn't.
the
It
vampire
didn't
only
throw me.
works
It didn't throw me off.
the vampire only works symbolically. It only works symbolically. But as a movie, where did the vampire come from?
You know, it's a
How
lot
was
of
it able to
B. It's a
survive?
lot of like B, C-list horrors that start like this, with the world building, and then goes straight into like heck holding the monster. You know what I'm saying? You could go, from like the 80s and 90s, well, like 80s and stuff. Some of the
But
horrors,
this is the
like
problem. B.
okay,
The movie was good before the vampire.
yeah, but I don't think it's a problem. Well, just for him trying to have like this message, you think the message of the vampire and him, like you said, not having more foreshadowing, which I think it was really good nuggets. I don't need you to throw me a like, oh yeah, man, they so and so went missing. Like we don't know where they at, or
See, I
I don't
need
need
those.
that.
I need
I
that
don't
if you're
need that.
going to
I
introduce
like
a creature to me, B. I need that. So perfect example for me, B. When you watching the first Nightmares on Elm Street movie, and this is
mhm,
the problem with this, B, because you're introducing a mythical creature. Like I said, if this was
mhm.
like Final Destination, where you don't see a figure doing something, but you know something is acting on the world, then that
but
works for me.
but you
Because
gotta
you're hearing
understand.
about these
But
rumors, you're
don't.
hearing about these stories. When it comes
But
to
you
a movie
just
like a, go ahead, B.
no, no, go keep going. 'Cause I know where you
But
getting
when it
at,
comes to
but
like I said, symbolically, that's how the vampire works. That's the only way it works. When I'm coming from a surface level B, that vampire don't work.
I get what you're saying, but you gotta understand those movies is built on the monster. It's built on Freddy Krueger, Jason, all these people. This movie message, it was a different type of movie. Like, yes, it
Hmm.
has the supernatural element with the vampire, but
Hmm.
that's not the forefront of it. The message, like you said, it's like it's a vampire thrown in there, but the message is more deeper than just it's more
Hmm.
about the music, the influence that Africa and all these, this culture from here comes to America. The
Hmm.
music all connects, and you have people, the outsiders, come in trying to invite themselves in, want to be invited. You let them in, they take it, they try to popularize it, they just strip it from the culture, from the essence. Like it was, that was what it
Like I
is in
said,
this
that
film.
works. That works as a euphemism. That's what I'm
I
saying.
got you.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Face value, this stuff don't work. Because you gotta think, B, not everybody's gonna look at it like that, and not everybody's gonna have that context to look at
So
this like that.
yeah, but you gotta understand how Ryan Coogler shot this movie. Yeah, you could talk about the message behind it, but without even caring about the message, this movie was a good movie. It was entertaining. It kept you engaged with the dialogue, with the no him grabbing up the everybody that's gonna work for him. Every scene was engaging. Each character, even though like him with Cornbread was a short lived,
Hmm.
it was a short
But
scene, but
but B,
it
I
brought you
said
in.
everything with that
That's what
works perfectly for me.
I
The
know, but I'm saying.
vampire. I'm focusing on the vampire at a face level, B. That ish don't work for me on a face level. Symbolically, yes, that ties it together really well. I agree with you. But I'm saying
Mhm.
from a face value, from how it's marketed, that ish don't work for me. But
I just don't.
symbolically, the scene with the music and it's connecting all the generations of black
Mhm.
culture and black music, be phenomenal. I'm like, oh, but then I got to remember this vampire got to come in and do something at some point. And I get it, like I said, symbolically, but surface level wise, it don't work. It don't. Face
To
level
me,
wise, it don't work.
surface level to me, watching the film, that whole having the hip hop and all that, I didn't like that. I didn't like that part. I thought it was corny, but I understood it, but it was corny to me.
But
I didn't like that
did it
part.
look like a beautiful scene though? Be imagine seeing
It
that in
was a, it
IMAX.
was a, it was a really good scene. I want to see it in 70 millimeter. I'm gonna have to go see it in 70 millimeter. But
Well, you know I'm gonna
overall,
buy this on
bro,
4K, but
yeah. But I'm just saying, to me, I had no problem how the vampire was introduced. It had the old tropes with vampires having to, allow themselves in, and then you get to the point when they starting to kill the vampires when it comes to the silver, the stabbing, the stake, or all that type of stuff. I loved all that. I like that. My gripes with the film was some of the things it did, like with the whole hip hop stuff, and I didn't like the scene at the end
The
when they
post credit
brought
scene.
not the post credit scene, no, no, no. At the end when he after he killed all the KKK members, and then the girl and the baby pop up. Like I understood what it meant, but I just didn't like it. I'm like, I ain't care for
Why
that.
didn't you like it?
It just to me it kind of felt it felt a little cringy as well.
I get exactly where you're going at with this. To me, this felt like the black people need a win moment. That's what it
Yeah,
felt like to me.
yeah, it just not the whole the killing of the KKK members
That's what I'm talking about.
wasn't.
That
Yeah,
that
that
scene.
wasn't that scene didn't really it didn't bother me because it connected to the first scene about like yo you come back here we gonna shoot all y'all up. So I'm like I get that. I'm talking about the scene with him imagining seeing his baby and
Mhm.
seeing his girl. I didn't like that.
So wait, why didn't you like that? Because, like
It
you said,
seemed
the whole
corny.
supernatural thing, it that fits in. To me, that
No, I
fits
didn't.
in better than the
It
vampire
can
itself on
it
a
can
surface
fit.
level.
No, I didn't like that at all. I just thought it
Yeah,
was
I
just I
did.
didn't it just once it just scenes there's certain stuff I just don't care for. I just didn't care for that
Yeah.
scene. Them two
Uh,
scenes really gave me the ick. I don't know why. I was just like, ew. I don't like that freaking scene, like I said, with all the hip hop and the twerking and all that.
I
Like,
can't believe you didn't like that.
nah, I
I
didn't
can
like
see
it.
why
It's
you didn't like it. I can see why you didn't like it. I
corny. It
liked it
was
because I was
corny.
like, visually, I'm like, I get where it's coming from. Was that one guy that had like the funk like Soul Train like outfit on?
Mhm.
Was that DJ Paul?
I don't know.
I thought that was
I
DJ
didn't know
Paul for
that.
a second. I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
me personally, I told my girl coming out this movie, I liked and I enjoyed this movie, but I don't think it was a good film narratively because it felt like two different movies put together as one. Because the first half of the movie and the second half of the movie to me are so completely different. To where it's like all this like it becomes like super horror action heavy in the last third, but the first two thirds of the movie, I'm like, I'm loving this world that you're putting me in. I'm liking these characters that you're putting me in. I'm like, but that problem of the vampire having to be the main antagonist is what's not going to work for me in the long run. I already knew that going into this movie while watching it. I'm like, I'm like, we getting this whole thing together. I'm like, I'm loving all this. I'm like, but as soon as you introduce that vampire, because I already knew it, they introduced that vampire way too late. You should have gave me some little hints and tidbits of the vampire itself coming up because like I said, a creature, you're gonna have to develop that creature a bit more for me, especially when they try to give the creature a symbolic meaning and like to have it be a bit more of a logical creature as well, where it's like, oh, okay, I can see where this creature is coming from.
What
To me,
what
I'm
what
like,
else?
I'm getting it.
Where else could this movie went? From the movie
That's what
we
I'm
got,
saying. I
where else
get,
could this movie
but that's what
go?
I'm saying. Huh?
What I say from where it started off, what else could this movie go? It just be a regular movie. They go to the juke joint and stuff happens. And they fall
Well,
out
the
and then they
one of
get
the
back
problems that they
together.
was having was that they wasn't making enough money. But like I said, B, I already knew that the vampire was going to be the main antagonist. But I was like, I'm like, see that conversation is a bit harder because I already knew the vampire was the main antagonist going into this movie. So that's the problem.
Mhm.
That's why I was saying everything about the movie beforehand. I'm like, I'm loving this, but I'm like, once this vampire gets introduced, it's not gonna sit well or work right for me. Like, I get it symbolically, it works, yes, but as
But
a
so you
creature
haven't.
doing something, being antagonistic force doesn't work on me, especially when you try to give it logical reasoning for certain things. It don't work with me. Symbolically, euphemism wise, yes, it works, but without that, just look because something like that should still work on a surface level. To me, it don't work on a surface level.
So my thing is, I'm trying to figure out. You knowing you're going into the movie knowing that the vampire's there. All the signs that they was talking about when it comes to like the devil, you know, the evil, whatever, gonna catch up with you. You wasn't thinking about the vampire back in your head.
So I already knew that the vampire was coming, but so many of the other instances that we was having throughout the movie, I was like, okay, this is so enthralling me so well that once this vampire comes out, I'm like, it's not gonna work for me as a creature. Like I told you, B, when it comes to like Final Destination, you don't have a big scary monster that represents the Final Destination series. You have certain forces of nature that's actually working without a creature being shown to make it work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
That's why I'm
I understand
like
it.
I said, the best way I can say is like it's like a Freddy Krueger. When you first watch the movie, you hear these kids having you hear these kids having nightmares. This guy with this weird vest, when they wake up, they certain things happening, but you're just thinking it's like an urban legend. You get what I'm saying? Until you actually see it, you're like, oh, so everything they were saying was true. See, nothing in this world indicates that a vampire is real. It's just all like because if we said this in real life, hypothetically, because we know that older black people have said these type of superstitious religious like things, but it's not literally a actual physical force that's supposed to be doing it. The devil is supposed to be hiding within things like sin, like temptation and all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
For me, like I said, if it wasn't an actual entity itself, this would have worked way better for me. But because this was an entity, there's so many things that you have to introduce for that entity to work for me. Like I said, euphemism wise, this works. But I gotta remember, this is also a film with a horror element that has a creature in it.
Yeah, but it's not the creature is not the main focus. That's my if the creature was the main focus, I understand you. I hear what you said, but I understand your
Mhm.
critique even more. I think I agree with you, but I can't because that's not the selling point of the film. The vampire is
But
not
that's what
because
it
it.
is, because a lot of people even said online that this was mismarketed.
What you mean by that?
Like the whole vampire thing happening, a lot of people, because even my dad said, "Oh, I thought this was just some crazy movie or whatever." Like he
Yeah, I
didn't know,
didn't.
like all the.
I didn't.
But see,
That's
that's
what
the
I'm saying.
thing,
I
though.
didn't see that. I didn't know nothing about I thought they didn't show none of that in the trailer, so I was
No, the
shocked.
worst part. Oh, B. Also, the worst part about the trailer, the one that I saw, it showed the vampire and it showed the other Michael B. Jordan twin hitting his head like, "Let me out, let me out."
See,
Like,
I didn't, bro.
so
I didn't
and see
see.
certain
I didn't
things
know
like
none of
that.
that. I didn't know none
And
of
see
that.
me going into this, I'm like, okay, I know this stuff is going to hit, but it's not going to work well because of how late certain things is happening in the movie and all these events are transpiring.
Yeah, I
Euphemism
didn't
wise,
watch
like I
it.
said, it works. Surface level, it does not work for me.
I guess it did what it needed to do for me because I didn't watch those trailers. I don't like when studios do that. I don't know why they reveal so much. I think this works better as not, showing so much in that trailer, like not knowing
Mhm.
it was a vampire. I went into this blind. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just knew it was gonna, if something's gonna happen. Like watching that first trailer, I'm like, all right, something's about this, something's gonna happen. And me having the deep, religious stuff that's going on, the devil mentioned, and then like the different with the lady with the voodoo. I can't think of her name, but I was thinking, I'm like, okay, something about to happen, like the devil or whatever, some evil's coming. So that was my thing. Something's gonna happen at the freaking juke joint. So me looking at it, I didn't know none of that stuff. I didn't have none of the trailer experiences. So I think with me watching it, my experience is a little different from yours. Your expectations was a little different because you seen that in the trailer. Because you was like,
Mhm.
okay, it's a vampire. I'm going in here. I need to know. You need to build around this vampire for me. Me, I didn't know what it was. Just build that world, talk about the evil and what's going to happen, and that's how it got me. So I guess you could say that's mismarketed. Seeing people seeing that second trailer, third trailer, whatever it was, they revealed all that nonsense. I knew nothing about it. B nothing.
But also for me, what also doesn't work is that the Klansmen could have easily been this antagonistic force for it to work still to a degree.
I
Because
don't
to
think
me,
so.
like I said, the creature thing. Remember the movie Ghost Rider? While we all try to forget it exists, remember the movie Ghost Rider? Remember the devil in that movie?
Hmm.
It just showed up as a simple looking man. It showed up like an everyday looking man. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna make a deal with you. You do this, you gotta woo woo woo." It still was a force of nature that you didn't have to see it doing anything literally, and it still
But B, what
made
would have
certain
been
events happen.
what's the metaphor with the KKK though? That's a typical drama porn. That's typical black drama porn right there. I think adding that supernatural element with the vampire added a
Hmm.
little something different to like
Hmm.
the experience of being black. I
Hmm.
think that's what was the selling point of it. He could have gave you the
So B,
KKK, but it's
take
like
out the
we seen it.
euphemism part because, like I keep telling you, me and you agreeing on this. Euphemism part, it works. Take out the euphemism. Look at it from a surface level. Don't look at it with context of being black or anything like that. As a movie, you are not black. You are not attached to black culture. Look at it just from the movie, what it gives you, without you actually looking deeper into it.
Strip the messages or whatever. I
Hmm.
still like the movie, but I think I see your
I said the
point.
same.
I think I see your point of building around, the monster.
Hmm.
But I can't. It's like this. Remember when it came to Black Panther, we'll say it's a good movie, but it's not as good of a Marvel film. Is it
Hmm.
in that aspect? Because I know Michael B. Jordan. I said Michael. Ryan Coogler is a storyteller. Like he characters. He likes to
Hmm.
spend more time with the characters and build around
Hmm.
the story. And that's what I got from here. So automatically I was sold from that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
So I get it when it comes to that point, but it's hard for me not to watch this movie and not think about what he wanted to give me. And that's
Hmm.
how I watched it. But I get you. But my gripes was like, the whole scene with the evolutions of music
So
and the
why did you
freaking
think that
mother
was
thing.
corny? So I
I
really
don't know,
want to.
it just felt out of place to me. And like what we was getting, like, I'm like, I don't need this right now. Like you could have did that whole scene and did your whole soliloquy of like having a roof go on fire. Cause I'm thinking, oh, the roof on fire. That's a dope, you know what I'm saying? The roof,
Hmm.
black people partying or whatever. But the whole like, I'm like, it just felt so out of place to me. It just felt cringy, B. I looked over at my wife and was like, the hell they doing? It actually took me out of the movie. I was like, ew, bring me back into this world. I don't like you could do the whole like cause ain't nothing look, it's nothing wrong with like when you think of vampires and stuff, you think of like some old, you think of like not medieval times. You think of like old fashioned times, you know what I mean? Like
I
the
don't.
uh the Winston Salem trials, talking about witches and stuff like that. I think of the olden times. With vampires, yes. Dracula, all that's like old times. You think of vampires. It's a
I don't
period.
because you gotta think a lot of kids when they think of vampire, they're gonna think of Twilight. You gotta remember that, B. Not just you. You are a film
Bro,
aficionado. Not
I know, but
everybody
I'm
is,
talking.
B.
Yeah, but I'm stereotypical vampire stuff, bro. It's old. It's old in age. It's like the
But how many
perfect.
people do you know saw Dracula versus Twilight?
You mean how many people you? What you mean? Dracula is super popular. I'm saying
How
as
many
the
people
character.
you know? Oh yeah, but there's
I'm
been
not talking about the
modernizations
movie.
of Dracula.
It's a lot of
Okay.
modernizations of vampires. I get you what you're saying, but seeing a freaking vampire in modern times with the stereotypical "I'm about to get you" thing, it's not a sell for me. Twilight is a sell because it's a fucking teeny bopper movie. It's a teen movie, B. Like it's more based on love and Team Edward
Uh-huh.
and team. I'm talking about vampires. A film about vampires is mostly focused on the vampires and not this teen drama. It's mostly in a period piece. So yes, it could be some supernatural, but when you do the whole like visually, when it comes to like direction and all that, it was dope, but it was
Yeah, I
cringy
agree.
for the moment. Like it was a music video or something different like that. It's cool. I understand what he was doing, but it wasn't. It took me out of the movie. Bring
So
me
how
back
did that
into what
take you
I'm
out the
doing
movie, but not the vampire?
because I
Euphemism
knew
aside. Euphemism aside.
I can't do that if I'm
You
talking about the
have.
movie. I'm watching the movie. Like you had your gripe, I have my gripe.
Uh-huh.
I'm taking that's my gripe with it. The vampire was yours, and
Uh-huh.
that part of the whole showing the evolution of music was mine. The whole
So you
vampire
didn't
your
like it when the
part.
music connected him to all time periods, B?
No,
When the little banjo was the DeLorean?
I like the idea. I just didn't like seeing it.
So you didn't like the
I
execution.
because I'm
How would you
no
have
the
done this better
execution.
than me?
No, the
Okay.
execution was good. I'm
Mhm.
saying I didn't. It just didn't sit right with me on the like a film aspect of it. To me, him narrating and talking about the music, I already thought about it. I'm already thinking about how all this stuff connects. Like I told my girl, you could watch so many old movies about black up and coming artists. They started out in the church. They all start off in the church. All they elders was telling them, this music is sin. The devil gonna you gotta stay away from this. It's no good. Blah blah blah. I knew that. All this stuff is evolution to like where we are today. I didn't need that visual to me. But when it comes to the vampire, how they utilize the monster, I know that you didn't like it just, playing that, but without the message. But the message is what the monster was using a vampire that sucks. And also coming up there playing that little folk music. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. And Cubs was like, hello, man, it kind of nice. And that's what we do. We say, hey, man, he all right. And then we bring him in. Like, nah, you could come in, bro. You could come into the cookout. You know what I'm saying? It was that whole ordeal. To me, you have to bring that into the movie. V. It's hard for me not to take and receive what Ryan Coogler was giving to me.
I guess the
Pause.
problem is like I guess the problem for me, like I said, the only thing that I would like to make the vampire aspect of it, like I said, message and euphemism, it works. But to me, it has to work on a surface level too, especially when you're introducing a force like this. If he would have done something earlier on to introduce that character as a vampire and try to like lure Sammy in earlier, it would have worked for me. There would have been certain things like, oh, his eyes turn red randomly, but like for a second, like certain
Vampires only
things.
come out at night, B. He had to build a freaking story a day, build
And he
you into
didn't
the
build the
characters.
vampire. He only started
Why
building the
would he
vampire in the
build?
middle of the
Why
movie.
the vampire don't really mean nothing though. He don't.
But
He's
it's
not.
there though, B.
It's
B.
there,
It
but it's
literally
not the
killed
bigger.
millions of people.
But it's not the
Probably.
big. It's not the big message.
Uh-huh.
The vampire is minuscule, bro. That's what I'm saying. He wanted to make you, bro. He wanted you to feel something when these people got taken away. He built that He built the
Uh-huh.
character around these people.
Uh-huh.
B. The vampire went ish.
And
You're
see, to me,
focused on the
the movie
vampire
falls
when
for
you
me.
gotta focus on the message.
But
My
B,
bad.
you gotta think though. If you want to give me a message, that's what Twitter's for. Negro, you showing me some visuals too.
But it
That
was
last third of
entertaining.
the movie, entertaining, yes. But entertaining doesn't always mean like the message lands or what needs to be
So did
shown
the message,
hits.
but did the message lands? It landed because
It
you agree
didn't
with you.
land.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I
like the
agree with it,
monster.
but
You didn't
the
like how they
execution of it is what's the problem for
you
me.
didn't like how they presented how they introduced the monster. B, I'm
And
gonna ask
but
you.
I'm saying like the last third of the movie felt so completely different. There was no action in this movie until that last third.
So what? That happens in a lot of movies, B. But look, I'm not
What movie
excusing
do
it,
we love that
bro.
that
I can
happens
I
in?
can go to it's so many.
That's
Look.
non-action
I,
basically.
I'm finna bring you into a scene when Michael B. Jordan when Stacks come back to life. He get to
Which
knocking
one?
on that door.
Okay, okay. I call them blue and red because I
Hey,
can't tell them.
hey, when Stacks started knocking on that door, B, how dope
I
was that
saw that in the
scene?
trailer, so it didn't surprise me.
I'm just saying, how dope was the scene though? The tension.
Remember, I told
I
you I
never,
saw it in the
I didn't see it in
trailer.
the trailer.
So
So they
no,
showed
that's what
that
I'm
full
saying for
scene.
me. I
They
told
showed
you
that
they
full
showed the
scene.
scene of him having the wide eyes and him hitting his head on the door and
But I
them
was
knocking on it. So I knew
so
that so I knew going into this movie, one of those twins is gonna die and one of them's gonna become a vampire. I knew
so
this already.
you didn't like nothing in the second half.
No, no, I'm telling you, I enjoyed the second half, but for me as a movie, it just doesn't fully work for me.
I'm trying to say, what did you think? Did you think that scene was dope? Even though you saw it in the trailer,
Yes, I thought the scene was good. I thought the scene was good, but
that's
like you
what
said, the whole tension thing and all that, like that don't work for me if I've already been spoiled on it.
did you watch the trailer right before the movie?
No, I knew about the movie and having vampires because I go to the movies. They show trailers
Yeah.
in movies, and you got to think. I mostly go see horror movies, and so they're going to show you trailers that are adjacent to the said movie that you're going to go see. So they're showing me Sinners and presenting it as a horror movie.
But I'm saying, I guess you're different. I'm just saying it's certain stuff you can see in a trailer, but when you watch the movie, it's a different aspect. It's like hearing a single and then hearing it in the album. It's like, all right, dang, I like it better. I like this. So I'm saying that scene with
I
him,
told you I liked the scene.
yeah, that's
It
all.
wasn't
That's
intense for me. I said that.
it wasn't tense for you.
I
Okay,
said the tension wasn't there because I've been spoiled on it. I just told you that. I told you
but it was
as a
no
movie,
tension.
I like
So
and enjoy it.
was it tension in the trailer, or it just shows him? You know how trailers move? They jump cuts.
Yeah, jump cuts. So I'm seeing glimpses of like him with the gun shooting and stuff
Mm,
like that. I'm like, okay, so something's gonna happen at the end of the movie where he got to be shooting. He's probably gonna be shooting vampires. I didn't expect the KKK thing to happen. So
yeah,
that's all like, oh, that got me. You surprised me with that.
I got you, B. I got
Uh-huh.
you. I was just trying to speak on some things we liked
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
film.
besides the vampire aspect, I liked it visually. I liked the ending. It was very satisfying, especially that post-credit scene. I loved it. I liked Sammy as a character. I liked the drunk Unk as a character. I liked the two twins, even though they were very, very similar, which understandable. I like the backstory that they was
They were
slowly
similar,
unravel. To me, they was very similar in terms of like how they were. They were different enough for me to tell apart, but they was very similar in certain aspects. You get what I'm saying? But that's gonna happen though.
yeah. I think Ryan Coogler did a really good job showing you who they were as characters. Like I learned them who they were based. If he could have put them in the same outfit, and I could have seen from personalities who's who.
Oh, same, same.
I think he did. I think he did that well. Yes, they similar of zero nonsense war veterans type guys.
Yeah,
Like we about
yeah.
our business.
But see, don't
But
see B. Literally everything before the whole vampire, like I said, was introduced. B. Everything ex vampire like in terms of like the writing around it, the setting
Hmm.
around it, I loved it. I loved all the nuggets they was giving me. I loved them unraveling the story about the banjo. You know, the red one. He's seeing Sammy in the car and they driving or whatever.
Yeah,
He's
the
singing the song.
stacks.
You know, yeah. And then at the end of the movie, the blue one, he was like, "Oh, that's our father's banjo." He's like, "That's." He's like, "He lied to you. Like that's
Yeah,
not so
yeah.
and so's banjo. That's our father. That's your uncle's." And then talking about how one of the brothers, the older one, I think, or the one in the red, or the blue, I mean, he killed the
Smoke was the
dad because
oldest. Yeah,
he was beating
stack.
on the blue one or the red
Hmm.
one. You know what I'm talking about.
Stacks,
Y-
stacks,
Yeah, see, I'm
stacks
gonna
is
forget
blue.
their names. See, yeah, I call like I said, I call them blue and red B.
Hmm.
So yeah, certain things like that, I was loving everything about it. B. Them trying to enlist people for the barn, the juke joint.
Hmm.
I'm like, yo, I'm loving this. Talking about, look, your wife might let you put that in her mouth tonight. She said,
Put that
hey,
pecker in the
she
mouth.
said, look, she said, how much is it? Hey,
Yeah.
boys, sharecroppers picking cotton and all that. I'm like, B,
Hmm.
I'm loving this right now. I love this world that Ryan Coogler put us in for this. I'm loving everything about it. I love the way that Michael B. Jordan, the blue one, had the relationship with that old girl that was in the superstition
Annie,
and things like that. Yeah,
Annie.
I love the fact that she was into that. So, they had someone that was able to give us knowledge of like how to defeat the vampire and things like that. I love the fact that they had the little Asian connection in the city. It was like, oh, I shot so and so. Patch him up. I'll pay for it. I loved
Yeah.
everything about it, B. If you want me to
I
talk
can't
about it.
have I can't have two niggas saying they try to steal and they ain't, got no wounds, you know what I mean? Whatever. They did, boom, shot him, shot the other one in the leg.
Yeah,
That
he's
was a
like, I
fire
can't have you
scene.
go tell that story. I
Yeah, yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Like I said, B, or like hey, I'll pay you 10 cents to watch my car. Her, okay. Hey, hey, hey. Whenever you talking business, you always talk numbers. You always gotta
Yeah.
argue with me. But see, I was loving everything about that, B. I was like, yo, this is fire right here. I'm loving this world.
But I'm
The
saying
world definitely brings me into it. I was like, yes, I'm enjoying this.
what's so dope is like I was trying to say the character development he did in the beginning, it shows all that shows inside the juke joint. You see
Mhm.
that Stacks had more of a like he was rough, but he also had more sympathy for
Which
the
one is that? The
people around
business
him.
minded one or
No, that's Smoke. Smoke is
okay?
blue. Smoke is the more business mind, like how he talks to the
Okay.
little girl and how he
Hmm.
talks to his brother. He was like, "Hey, yo, man, this money, we ain't making no money, they ain't cutting it." And they were like, "Yo, bro, we trying." They ain't got nothing, bro. They come here, let's
Yeah.
make this like it's for them. See, that's how Stacks think. Look,
Hmm.
Stacks get bit. Smoke coming there. What's going on? Zero nonsense. No, nothing else. Pull out the gun. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Start yabbing her up. I'm saying, and that plays back into him shooting them dudes in the leg. Like
Hmm.
he don't play. All that shows in their characters, bro. And like even when it comes to Stacks, like you said, they was in the car, he was playing. Stacks loved it. He loved his cousin playing that music. Smoke didn't like that. He's I'll shoot you dead right now. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
if you
saying? Like,
try and
nah,
do that
you try to
outside
do
of
that.
this tonight.
You try to do that
Uh-huh.
outside of it. So it's like
Preacher boy.
you know what I mean? It was like it was just different things like that that I loved, and they built that character, and we knew who they was. Yes, you bring the vampire in, but like the vampire was there for Sammy for it just built around the whole the sinister, the evil. You know what I mean? But we ain't gonna get back. We talk too much about the vampire, but
Uh-huh.
overall, man, I think this movie was really good. I think it's gonna be a top movie of this year. I haven't seen much this year. I seen about 3, 4 films I think this year, maybe three, and
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I think Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan they be killing it, and they young, bro. They just in their
Hmm.
30s, bro. Now and they killing it, man. Ryan Coogler dope. I actually have a crazy fun fact. I have an uncle that actually I wouldn't say he helped produce Fruitville Station, but like he was a like they from the area, like, and they kind of like helped him
I
with
just saw
stuff
that
back in
movie
the day.
yesterday.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember when that came out, bro. I love that movie, boy.
Yeah, I heard of it, but I just nothing ever brought me or made me want to watch it. And after
It's a
watching it, I was like, "Mm,
yeah, based on a true story, just to tell the day of the before the dude passed. It was I don't know, it just Michael B. Jordan, that character was so real to me. Like I knew so many people like that. It just brought you
mhm."
in. I really need this job, bruh. Like it was just certain stuff. I'm like, all right, yo, I'm sold. I
I
love
guess
how
for
they
me
told
that
that
nothing
story.
in that movie sold me. And I was like,
It
ah.
sold me, bro. Even like going home, your family making gumbo, they talk, hey, I'm going for the quarterback. It's just a day in a life. It was a movie of day in a life, and then it just ended up, he ended up passing away. It's just an
Mhm.
everyday kid getting out, everyday, young father. I don't know,
Mhm.
I connected with it. I really love how he told that story. He's really good at storytelling, B. I'm just
B, you know
saying.
I've seen all his movies. You know,
Yeah.
B, I buy his stuff. I
Yeah.
bought Creed. I bought Black Panther 1. I bought Black
Hmm.
Panther 2. Come on, B. I'm buying it. I'm
I
supporting.
know. I got you. I go to the movies and see them. I haven't. I don't think
You
I
know
own any of
I
his
go to the
movies.
movies and see it too.
Yeah.
Except for
But
Fruitvale. That's the only one I haven't seen in theaters.
mhm.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
you know I gotta support. You know I turn up to support.
Oh yeah. I think his movie was dope, bro. Shout out
Yeah, I
to
do too.
Delroy Lindo. I think he stole the show. He was hilarious. And he
Drunk Uncle?
told, yeah, his name was on there, Delta Slim.
Okay.
Delta Slim. And he was killing it, bro.
Yeah,
Especially
I
telling the
agree.
story about how he went up to Arkansas and all that. And I like how they had the like ad libs pretty much going on with the story. They were
Oh,
showing
you
like
talking about
them
the sounds of the story like
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
while it was oh
When they
yeah.
passed up, he was like, "Yeah, I know him." He told the story about how he do the guys on the chain gang. But I don't know. I love this man. I love this movie. I
Yeah.
love it.
I
Even
enjoyed
though
it
I had
too.
my gripes, but I know B didn't like the vampire. You know what I'm saying? He said the message didn't matter. He don't care about black folks struggle. And I got you.
I didn't say the message bad. I said that's the only way the vampire works is because of the message. I said that.
Oh man.
I said on the surface though, it don't work.
Without that message, you just bring in KKK members just to kill niggas. Pretty much. That's the movie.
No, without the message, something is blood, something is sucking you dry, is going to live to tell the story of another day, which we saw with Red at the end of the movie with his girl. So
How do you
yeah.
defeat this entity, this invisible entity that you think would work better?
How do you defeat it? You can't defeat it. That's the thing that I think that if you are we talking about message or like
That's what
actual
I'm saying. How
logically
could you
in
have a
humans?
message without a physical being
How can you have a
monster?
message without a physical being? Easily.
Yeah.
Like I told you, Ghost Rider.
What message
While it
was in
didn't
Ghost Rider?
work,
That
making a
movie.
deal with the devil. You don't
That
make a
movie
deal with the
is
devil because uh, something is always going to backfire in the long run.
that movie sucked ass.
No, but I'm saying, but we have comics to go off of as well. B, you make a deal
Yeah,
with
but
something of an evil force. While you might have gotten your thing short term, it doesn't work out for you long term wise.
I
But
see
I'm
what you're
saying
saying. But I don't
entity
think that analogy
wise,
works in this type of. I don't think that works in this type of film of like the message they trying to give. This is a certain group of people,
so
B.
that message don't work. But the message with the whole music it is connecting all generations don't work either.
Who
What?
said that didn't? I never said that didn't work.
It
I
was
said I
corny.
didn't. I thought it was corny how it was in there. I just didn't like that part, but the idea was dope. I get the idea. I just didn't like how it was in the movie. That's it. That's all I said.
So it didn't
I like
work.
I
So
it
so it
worked.
did work or it didn't.
No, I'm saying I didn't like the idea. I mean, I didn't like it how it looked. It worked for a lot of people. Everybody talked
The
about it all the
vampire
time. Oh,
worked
they
for a
loved
lot
it.
of people too.
Facts. So that all it is, B. We all
Hmm.
have different opinions.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that the whole Ghost Rider and the devil thing, devil, God, we already know that. But I'm just saying, them using some type of monster or something like something supernatural, like actual physical, have them having the fight was different. It's hard for them to do an entity in this situation. What, they're gonna be dancing and then stuff just gonna be flying everywhere. Well, you gotta stop it, Sammy, because you gotta stop the music.
That's
You
where you
gotta
have
stop playing.
the undercover
Man, get
hooded
out of here.
fellows
It
come in.
wouldn't work. You got to defeat something physically. And also, you got to think about how we have people in our own culture that can be culture vultures that can take away from what we have. You had to
Hmm.
bring that, and the vampire used that as taking the people you love or certain people that was connected to you, and they
Hmm.
took it away because like it could be money and blah blah blah. It's so much metaphors inside that. That's why they used it. How could you do
That's
that
why
with just some?
I told you euphemism. That's the only way it works. That's the only way this
That's
works is
why it
because of it.
works. That's why it's in the movie. That's what I was trying to say. You
I
like
said
that.
that at the beginning. I said that
Yeah,
at the
but
beginning.
you don't dislike that the vampire didn't work. You didn't like how it was introduced. You wanted more foreshadowing. That's no
Yes,
problem.
as a creature, yes.
But the vampire worked technically because that's what you're saying. It worked.
Only because of the message. If I take the message out and I don't look at it for any deeper meaning, if I'm not digging for
But B,
thematics and all that type of stuff, because
but
not every time you watch a movie, you got to dig for that, B. Not
I
every
know,
time. And some
I know,
people ain't going to get that. Some people are only going to get these points because they looking on the internet to see.
I I know, B, but that's why he gave you the entertainment still in the film. You still was
Yeah,
entertained. My
I said
wife
it was
stayed up.
entertaining.
Yeah, yeah.
I
My wife
said it.
stayed up. My wife is like my litmus test of a film. She falls asleep through everything. This lady stayed up the whole movie. So I'm like, okay, this movie has some entertainment value. And she don't care
Hmm.
about no message. She
Hmm.
straight hate that black message stuff. She don't not like it.
Hmm.
She hate it. So I'm like,
Dang.
she liked the movie.
He's married to a white woman just like in the movie, guys. He's married to a white woman just like in the movie, guys. Just want y'all to
Nah,
know
hey,
that.
no. What y'all think about what's her name? Haley Steinfeld or whatever her name is.
She was
What's her name
cool.
is?
I
Yeah,
think
she
that's
was
what her
look,
name is.
look like she has some little yams in that joint too. I was like, hold
She
up,
was
man.
cool in the movie B.
I see you stack. And she was in there
Look,
riding that thing too on there, bro. She was
he said, "Hey, you drooling, baby?" He said, "Put that in my mouth." Oh my god, in the movie. Y'all was
Oh
getting
man.
dirty like that in the 1930s.
Oh boy, they was freaks, bro. The chitlin circuit full of STDs. Boy, they was wilding over them chitlins.
That's crazy. That's a crazy statement to say, B. That is a crazy
Bro,
statement to
look
say.
at read them books. I'm telling you,
No,
bro.
but I'm saying it's just a crazy statement to say out loud.
They was throwing a little Aretha Franklin everywhere. Hold on, wait. Hold on,
Let me
man.
save the
Hey,
show. Let me save the show. But B, overall thoughts, man. If you had to give a rating, we usually don't do this. You know what? Not rating. Would you recommend this to
well,
people?
great. I will definitely recommend it. I actually recommended it to my father because he said, "Oh yeah, he thought it was some type of well, he didn't even say. He said he didn't really know what it was about." And I told him I think he enjoyed the movie. You should go watch it. So take a lady friend or something, go check out the movie, some popcorn. You know what I'm saying? Drink a little something and enjoy the film. I recommend it. If I'm gonna give it a grade, from like A through C or whatever, I get this a B plus or A minus. I say A minus. I just say A minus. Minor
Okay.
critiques on like some of the ideas, with the some of the stuff. But overall, I don't. I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. This is one of them ones. I don't know if it's gonna be a classic in the future, but we're gonna see how it gracefully age.
Ages.
But yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed this movie. What about yourself, B?
My usual grades. Would I recommend it? Buy it on Blu-ray and all that stuff. I recommend buying this on 4K Blu-ray. Steelbook edition, obviously. And a regular edition. Any editions that come out for this, I'm buying it. My grade, if I had to give it one, I give it a B.
A B. Okay, that's a good grade.
Yeah, like I said, the vampire aspect is the only thing that throws it off. But when you throw the message in there, it works. Surface
Hmm.
level wise, when I'm looking at it as just a movie without any themes or messages tying into it, it don't work for me. But like I said, the actual messaging makes it work for me. So I'm like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us
I'm
know what
a
y'all think about Sinners, and if y'all have seen it, down in the comment section down below. B, what was your last thoughts on that?
My last thought is I'm gonna rewatch this film because I only watched it once, and if I can get that second film, that second watch, I actually want to see how the director attended us to watch it in 70 millimeters, bro. I really need to check that out. I want to see how it look, how that film looks on it, man. Because the cinematography alone was just amazing. It was
Mhm.
impeccable. Wow. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But B, Four recently had a take on the Potty Mouth. Shout out to the Potty Mouth
Mhm.
crew. He recently had a take saying that Ken Carson, and it seems like the style of rage music itself is about to be the new average rap sound.
You can't hate Gunna but like Ken Carson. You know what's funny? Kyle, you bring a great point. I think the difference is Ken Carson, and I was thinking about this. This is actually a legitimate thought I had with this. Because I saw like Offset was shouting out Ken Carson. I think this album was getting a lot of attention. I think because A Great Chaos really started to break out into the mainstream. Um, Kyle is right. I think this is basically New Gen's version of like Gunna or Lil Baby. It sounds completely different, but it serves essentially the same shit, which is just vibes music. Gunna makes vibes music. It's not written the best, but it's vibes music. I think it's just generationally, there's a difference between pre-pandemic vibes music and post-pandemic vibes music. Pre-pandemic vibes music is more generic, kind of trap, like Lil Baby, Lil Durk, that ilk. But then the pandemic happened, and I've talked with Dom about this. We talked about this on the podcast. Everybody was stuck inside, and now the version of that vibes music is like blown out, distorted music because it appeals to people that were inside during maybe their high school years.
Go ahead and dive into this, B, because you kind of you put this up in here,
Yeah.
which was a
So
pretty good video, I think. Shout out to Four.
yeah, shout out to Four. I told him, shout out for him having, some interesting takes and bring some ideas to the hip hop space. I believe that it's a bold state because I think that King Carson is not like he's not an average rapper to me aesthetically.
Yeah,
When it comes to like, you know, p- his beat choices, some of the context, even though his overall style, even fashion wise, I feel like to be I feel like to be that average rapper, you gotta kind of appeal more to the average person, the average rap fan, a casual. Like a little baby is not finna go too crazy even with his stylist choices. You know what I'm saying?
Moneybag
He gets
Yo.
yeah, money bag, yo. You gotta, it's just certain topics I don't think Ken Carson discussed. He's not no street rapper. He don't talk about, him being in prison. I feel like most of those people that could be that average rapper, that new little baby you want to say, it has to have a certain aesthetic to it, and I don't think Ken Carson have that. What I could be wrong, it could change throughout the years. It could change, but I just don't see. I don't see my stepdad listen. Like my stepdad will jam some little baby. He'll jam some. Who else? Like 21 Savage. Anybody that was like those average rappers. I don't see
Quavo.
him. Yeah, I don't see him picking up and listening to any like Ken Carson because you gotta understand when it comes to those average rappers, you gotta think about some of the other rappers those guys listen to. They still listen to like Lil Boosie, like you mentioned, Moneybagg Yo. They listen to the Finesse two times, the
Boss Man
Boss Man
D-Lo for now.
D-Los. You know what I'm saying? They listen to those type of guys. To me, that falls up under like those like the C to D list little babies because little baby did grow in a big scale on mainstream wise. If I think Ken Carson is just, he's just C to B list like a Cardi, like a Playboy Cardi. I don't think he will, maybe I could be wrong. I don't think he will like, proceeds like Cardi. Will he ever will go above like a Cardi or something like that?
Mhm.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I was listening to what Ford was saying. I'm like, okay, I understand you, but I'm like, I just don't know if he could be that section of hip hop can be the average rap. I don't think so. It can't. I don't. It don't even. I don't think it could be the new rap caviar. Pretty much. You know what I mean? So
I
yeah, that's my point.
I completely agree. That was actually about to be my point. This isn't going to be the new rap caviar. There's too many elements working against this type of sound and aesthetic itself. For one, as heavy and as harsh as the production is on this type of music, it doesn't fit the crowd of like the average listener. Uh, to me, this is too niche. To me, this is like when during the pandemic, when everything had a boom because everybody was inside and you was just searching for certain things to get into. To me, it's just that rage music itself, especially in hip hop, is one of the bigger subgenres we have currently because the kids that grown up with it, they are like a cult like following with this sound. But I think that at some point they might age out of this. Like to me, this is like more younger people music. Like you said, like a little baby, Moneybagg Yo. They make hits for like the average rap fan to be able to listen
Mhm.
to, turn on at a party and stuff like that. I can't imagine someone being at a party and it not being one of the bigger songs from Ken Carson, them putting on 3 or 4 Ken Carson songs back to back repeatedly. Like I can't imagine anything like that. I can't imagine Destroy Lonely really having hits like that, unless it was something off of TikTok that everybody knew itself. The reason these songs I feel can only thrive well is in a setting like a TikTok where these kids are mostly on there. This is their social media where they're promoting these songs, they're sharing these songs, they're putting these songs to memes and things like that. I can't imagine people in real life really listening to this. Most people I
Mhm.
talk to most likely don't know who a Ken Carson is. They know a Playboy Cardi mainly for his stuff. Well, really mainly for like a Magnolia in New York, I Million Rock. Like I couldn't ask many people that probably are little baby fans and stuff like that, hardcore like average hip hop fans. I can't tell them to name me like 3 or 4 songs off a whole lot of red. I feel like this whole
Mhm.
sound, even people, sorry, even people who are like outside of this, because like I said, this I keep saying this is a niche type sound. This is a niche type subgenre right here. I don't think a lot of the people that are average rap caviar fans like a Yeet. Like to me, that's still a niche sound, even with what he's doing. Like, yes, he has a big following, but I think that following is like it's there, like it's intact, like it's not
I,
really gonna go
I
anywhere. I think it only can age up. I think
I
it is
think
going to be like a Uzi.
yeah, I think a average rapper have to appeal to multiple age groups. You know, like I said, like Lil Baby, if you use Lil Baby, you gotta understand. Like I said, my stepdad will jam a Lil Baby song, but my little nephew will too as well. All because like that's not something that's gonna be like Young Thug, right? Young Thug to me never was the average hip hop rapper. Yes, he collaborated with the big rappers and stuff, but he wasn't average. You gotta understand, he has different styles. You know what I mean? He even when his like physically when it comes to how he dressed and stuff like that, but he stereotypically will fit like the stereotype of like being the street guy, but rapping wise, some of the sounds, some of the music he makes, he don't fit that average rapper section. Like he has the little Uzis and all them guys following that. Like Future can do different things, but he still can be packed as the average hip hop rapper, in my opinion, because Future still makes songs like that. Like, yes, my uncle and my dad will jam some Future, and my nephew and my nieces will jam some Future, and my little cousins. You know what I'm saying? But with Ken Carson, I don't think he will age in a way, especially with his type of music, will ever go above some,
What it
30
is
year
now.
olds, 40-year olds. Nah, it's a youthful movement, like you said, be especially with the sound and just how the rage, the production. It's like, come on, like it's it's very it's more noise than anything to me. So
That's
nah,
disrespectful, but yeah, keep going.
it's true because you gotta understand when it comes to like average rap, like yes, the beat, the hook sells, but you gotta understand at least what they saying. The production has to be more palatable. It has to be what's the word I'm looking for? It has to have that standard trap beat, that standard
Hmm.
trap
It
element
has
for
to have to,
me.
it has to have a
That
consistent groove.
consistent, yeah, it can't
I'm about to say
yeah,
Rage is kind of like all over the
over the
place.
place. Nah, I just don't see it becoming an average, you know. Nah.
Yeah, plus this type of music is like mosh pit kid
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
too.
saying. Yeah, yeah,
Like I
it's
can't
so
imagine like you being at a normal house party and this I don't know I haven't been to no house party in years or anything like that. But I just
yeah.
can't imagine most of Ken Carson's music being played anywhere. Like you get
It's
what
a
I'm saying?
s-
Like a
it's
DS2
so
is like
useful.
the DS2 is like that standard trap where it's like, oh yeah, you could jam any of this at any time at
Thanks. My dad jammed DS2 heavy, and he was like 45 at the time it came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and it was like me and him jamming it together. I put him on to DS2. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, we was jamming DS2 heavy.
Yeah, I just don't think I get where four is going at, but I think it's just that cult fan base is going to stick around with people like a Ken Carson. I do think he will suffer that little Uzi effect where at a certain age his fans will start aging out of him. But I think
Yeah,
like people like Lil Baby and all that will always be doing bigger numbers than a Ken Carson, unless they fall off, obviously like a Roddy Rich, and then Ken Carson still has this cult following at the same time. So yeah.
facts.
Yeah,
True.
y'all let us know, is Ken Carson the new little baby of this generation? Let us know in the comment
What
section
y'all
down
say? But yeah,
below. But B, we don't have
we
to go
wanna.
over some of these topics,
Well, you
but
wanna
I do want
touch
to.
them next week? Which one you wanna
Yeah,
talk to? We do one more.
yeah. Has 2025 started out slow? Shout out to Unc Tony the Dome, aka Enter the Dome. I'll leave his channel in the description down below. He tweeted something. He said, "This year, 2025, starting off slow regarding hip hop albums. It should pick up soon, I hope." I was like, a lot has been dropping, honestly. He said, not really. And I was like, there's like 5 albums easily dropping a week so far. I always find myself listening to something new this year just to stay current or see what's out. B, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I agree with Unc, and I don't think it's about dropping because shit drop every day. We you know what I'm saying? We have to pee every day. We have to go to the toilet every day. You know what I mean? So I think he mean we need some better releases, some albums that's having some type of like standing right now. What's standing right now? B, give me one.
I
Give me
Am
a stand.
Music. That was like the biggest release this year. Hurry Up Tomorrow came out this year. Some
I
Sexy
don't
Songs
see
came out this year.
B. Nobody's talking about I Am Music.
I I see people talking about that.
I don't see it.
I see people talking about the Ken Carson. I seen
I
people
saw
talking
that.
about
That album came.
the
I'm
Larry
saying
June and 2 Chainz.
that album just came out. I haven't seen nobody talking about. Uh, I'm talking about. I don't see nobody talking about I am music, but algorithms are different.
Yeah, of course. So that's why when you ask that, it's going to be a different answer for everybody. But I think when it comes to these releases, I don't know. B outside of the beef last year, I think I see more releases this year getting talked about and hitting different peaks than last year.
Last year was too covered with the beef.
No, but I'm saying outside of the beef. Like I'm talking about releases within hip hop in general.
I
Because he's
think
saying
last
hip hop albums. That's what he's talking about mainly.
hip hop albums to me last year we had bigger hits.
At the top in the first quarter,
Man, we had Schoolboy Q, we had
that wasn't
Mark
bigger than any of these
Marciano,
albums that dropped.
We had Vince
Wasn't bigger
Staples.
than any of these albums that dropped.
What albums that dropped that's bigger? What are you talking about?
I Am Music, Ken Carson's More Chaos.
Ken Carson
These albums had bigger releases, B.
is I Am Music, of course, but Ken Carson, what are you talking about?
He just sold like 65K one week. Lil Durk also dropped this year. That sold 65K this week.
No,
Lil Baby dropped at the top of the year. That sold
what?
over 100K this year.
This boy talking about
We
numbers,
had bigger
bro.
releases drop.
What are you
this year
talking about
than last
numbers for?
year.
We talking about albums, B. What's a
No,
good
but he's
album?
saying it's slow. He's saying it's slow. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying a lot of the albums I see now are getting talked about more than at the top of the year of last year.
I think he's no way. I think he's out. You think slow mean nothing releasing? I think he's talking about
no.
slow
I think
because they
I thought slow
making
means
no
like
noise.
nothing big releasing.
No, I think he's talking ain't nothing hidden like that. That's my opinion on slow.
So what
'Cause
was hidden
albums
last
drop
year
every
like
week.
that?
I just named some albums.
Besides,
at the top.
Future and Metro.
They dropped. I named Vince Staples. I named freaking Schoolboy Q. I named you said Future. I named Mac Homie, even though I know that's more underground. Freaking Rock Marciano came at the top of that year. Like it was more albums that came out. I can't list them on top of my head unless I go on my IG when I did the whole list. But bro, freaking Rap City. I'm just saying it was more albums that was
That's at
albums.
the top
I
of
think
the
it's
year
slow.
last year.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not like February, June, but like probably a little.
Yeah, I'm
probably,
speaking first quarter. Like first quarter.
Maybe.
First 3 to 4
but nah,
months.
it's B. Ain't nothing hidden.
I think that's
slow.
super subjective. What do you mean nothing is hidden?
Everything's subjective, B.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I would agree with Unc. I believe albums come out all the time, but it's not this. It's not hidden. Like we ain't getting. What's the quality at? You could name. You start naming numbers, but Dirk album you didn't like. Nobody talking about that album. It just sold 65K because Dirk is an average rapper. It's Lil Durk. Kid Carson, he has a little buzz. I Am Music. People have been hyped for that album, like the fans, blah blah blah. It's gonna do his thing. But what else?
Larry June and 2 Chainz.
You didn't bring up numbers on that though, V.
Because I don't know the numbers on that.
So
I'm
why you
going
bring
based
up
off
the
of what
numbers?
I
No, but you brought up numbers on the other albums like that mattered.
because you started naming other albums that didn't sell as well compared to these albums. These albums this year, we had way big. I said it at the beginning of this conversation. We had bigger releases this year.
What a big release!
It can't start off slow if we having bigger releases.
I Am Music was a big release. That's it. Kid Carson album, no big release. B.
Kid Carson started off with B. I know you're not saying that it's not a big release. How much did Schoolboy Q and all them sell last year? How much did Mark Marciano sell last year?
I'm saying
those ain't no big releases.
But no, I'm talking about
quality releases, quality, but they wasn't no big releases.
I'm talking about quality. That's what
I'm talking about making noise. I'm talking about bringing money into it.
B,
you just said it was a whole bunch of noise in the last segment, goddamn.
You the number guy? You the numbers guy now, B? You the numbers guy?
I'm talking about, you said starting off slow. What does starting off slow mean?
I think it's slow by like the impact and the quality of the music. Because it's not like we having albums that's doing something. You say what?
How are we judging impact? Because a lot of people will go sales if we judge an impact.
I'm going impact on like what are we talking about? I ain't hearing no album of the year conversations. I don't hear nobody saying that. I haven't heard that this year.
Okay. I agree.
I remember last year I kept seeing album of the year here, album of the year here. I haven't heard none of that this year. That's my discussion. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I guess like I said, our timelines are curated differently because I'm still seeing people talk about Ken Carson. I'm still seeing people talking about I Am Music. I'm seeing people talking about the Plaque Boy Max's streams and stuff like that. That's what I'm seeing on my time. I'm seeing people still talking about Larry June and 2 Chainz and the Mike album.
Ken Carson came out last week, right?
No, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I've seen people discuss some of the Lil Durk album. People anticipating Ooey Scooty by Young Thug.
I ain't
I've
seen none
seen
of
people
that.
having these like talking about this stuff.
I ain't seen none of it. Wanna know why,
I
B?
have.
Because
Why?
it's not a
Because
lot.
you're old.
No, because look, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. When something has some type of impact, it reaches both algorithms. Yo stuff, I am music when it dropped, it was on my side. Kid Carson,
Mhm.
I ain't seen none about that smack. Get that ish out of here. I ain't seen nobody talk about Scooty either. That Young Thug joint. I ain't seen nobody talk about that. Nobody, because nobody know what it is. Get it out of here. And when it dropped, it's gonna be one of the biggest drops because people are anticipating the Young Thug project.
Mhm.
But that's it. But I'm saying B, hip hop is in a slow spot regardless. Last year it was slow. Only why it was up because we had a beef. I talked about this a few months ago. Hip hop is in a dangerous place and nobody want to talk about it. Y'all talked about the numbers last year. If we want to go numbers, we could talk numbers. We talked about the numbers last year. Only people that's in the billboards are freaking artists that's been around for years. 65K, that's good in this generation, but it's not what impact is for hip hop. Look at the numbers, bro. If Lil Durk was out and free, it would have been more than that. If Lil Durk could talk his talk, it'd be more than that. Ken Carson Stern 65K, I'm not impressed. I'm just saying. We do bigger things in hip hop. We was running the billboard and everything. Now all we talking about is Luther and Nokia. It's nothing but Drake and Kendrick talk. Playboy Cardi been around for 9+ years. It's nothing but
Shoot,
it's
even
on
Mike Lee later didn't stay on the charts like that.
like yeah, I'm just saying, man. Like I'm saying hip hop, y'all need to think about it. The shit is in water right now. Not saying it's dead, but it's in water. It's drowning. It need help. It needs somebody. We talked about that next star. Who is the next people running up? We would have been had a lineup of who we got coming up. We don't have none of that, B. We don't know who's next up. We worry about Kendrick being an ambassador for Chanel. SZA falling off stage from her freaking dancer can't hold her up. Kendrick talking about drop. Man, that's all we talking about. Y'all ain't talking about none of the next artists that's coming up. Even the artists y'all try to plug, y'all don't really like them. Y'all trying to force them because them niggas paying y'all. All you big channels, y'all get, I mean, big old accounts, niggas hitting y'all DMs and talking to y'all, telling y'all to put they, post about their stuff. Y'all not genuinely liking this stuff. Y'all not. You're not. And it is what it is. Spoke my piece.
Keep cooking, B. I need you to
Nah,
cook. I need you to cook like that even more. That was a
nah,
B. That was a 5-star Michelin meal right there. I
thank
like
you,
that.
B.
I
Hey
like
man, I'm
that.
just saying, I'm just
I
saying.
agree. I can't be when you phrase stuff like that, when you talk like that, I
Yeah.
can't do anything but agree. Everything you were saying was right. The problem is we don't have no new lineup. We don't have any next stars.
Mm-mm.
Everybody wants to be mysterious. We talked about this goddamn multiple times. And guess what? When
Mm-hmm.
we say this, people are like, oh well, Kendrick is doing this. Kendrick been here since like what 15 years ago. I don't care.
Man, I was
We
listening
talking
to
about the
Kendrick when I
new
was four.
era.
B, you was what about 14? I was about 14. Man, we
Uh-huh.
was kids listening to Kendrick Lamar. We was kids listening to Drake. Man, I'm 30. He almost 30. Bro, where the new talent at, bro?
Exactly.
It's like, come on,
And then
man.
people would be saying the worst names of like new talent. I'm like, no, that's not. Stop
That's
that.
not
Stop
it.
that.
Y'all,
I know
y'all
some
know
people
what we
says
doing.
can Rod Wave be the new could be one of the new faces. I'm like, I'm
But
gonna
he gonna be
hold
the
your
new
hand when
face
I
of the
say
big.
this.
I almost been disrespectful. Let me stop. Let me stop. I
I'll
almost
say
said
it.
something crazy. Nah, man, let me stop.
it.
I'm done, B. I was gonna be mean.
Look, this is the thing. I agree with you, B. We're in deep
Mhm.
ish. Where's the
We
next
are.
movement in hip hop? Who is the next guy in hip hop? A lot of people keep wanting to put Jid up in that pedestal. Stop it.
Oh, speaking of
Get some
Jid, I
help.
listened to his new track. You listen to it?
No.
All right,
You
so
good?
we're gonna talk. All right, I listened to the Jid new track. So what I did, I listened to it by myself. I listened to it again, and one thing I like to do, I like to use my wife. I like to let her listen to stuff because she's not into hip hop like that. I just like listen to this song as a song because if she likes something, she talk about it. I wish you heard the track. I should have sent it to you and told you to listen to it. I
Mhm.
saw some people on the timeline. This Jid song, man, we gotta have difficult conversations. Nigga, what conversations? Jid got on there and bro, the production was cool. Jid wasn't doing nothing on that track, bro. He took the whole like the production held him on that track. Him rapping took everything. It was off on that. Like his flow on that was kind of like it was just him just running, like just rapping and rhyming stuff. It didn't mean nothing. It didn't sound nothing. The best thing was the sample and the production on that. I'm sick of y'all talking about Jid this, Jid that, Jid the number one guy. You gonna have these difficult conversations. That working song ain't working for nothing, bro. Jid need to just stick to doing his Wingstop freaking commercials and talk about lemon pepper and barbecue sauces. Bro, that track one, he gotta show me something different. B, they like, we gotta have different conversations, difficult conversations. I'm tired of this, bro. I'm sick of them lying about these conversations. Like, what are they hearing? What I just heard on this track, bro. These niggas is whack, bro. It be number these white boys on Twitter, and I have nothing against other ethnicities when it come to hip hop, but it's like some of y'all, bro, that ain't nothing, bro. All y'all do is just yap. Them niggas be in y'all DMs, giving y'all money. Y'all talk to these labels and y'all boost them up. Stop it. Jid did nothing on that working track. B, check that track out and tell me what you think about it. You might like the beat and you gonna like that hook, but you is not gonna care about Jid rapping. I swear you won't. I promise you won't.
That was a masterful cooking bee. I love to see hate like that on this show. I thrive off the hate and negativity. Oh, B, I gotta listen to the song now. I'm reporting on this on the next episode of What We've Been Jamming.
Yes,
Oh,
B.
I gotta see B, because B, I know you are actually like a fan of Jid's older stuff. Like what is it, the orange cover one? I remember
Yeah,
that.
Forever Story. Not the
Yeah.
Forever Story, the Never Ending Story. One of them joints.
Yeah, one of them ones.
Yeah, one of
B,
them. Man.
you just cooked your boy like that.
Bro, it's like,
B,
I'm not
but
trying
it's
to
the
cook.
internet though. It's the internet's fault because they set him up that high.
Yeah.
You got to knock it down a peg. We got to be realistic about these talks, B. B, just because you like someone that heavily does not mean that they a goat. They a goat. They your goat, but they not a
But
goat.
B, I need you to listen to this song. And when you hear this song, what's the difficult conversation we gotta have? That Jid's not that guy y'all think he is? Is that the difficult conversation? I'm just saying, don't leave questions on, up the foot up. Don't just let me stop.
But B, you not hyped for the Jid and Metro Boomin album? I heard it's gonna do bigger numbers than Future and Metro Boomin.
All right, now you're talking. Boy, Metro booming with anybody ain't doing numbers. It's Future doing the numbers. Metro, I cooked Metro last year. I'm not, make some beats.
Hey,
Like,
hey,
make
they're
some
not doing
drums.
more numbers than Nav in Metro B.
All right. See, that's what's gonna happen. Jid is equivalent to Nav and Metro when they drop something. It'll be a little light, just a little above Nav in Metro. Metro to me, Metro is a dope producer, I guess, to y'all. None of his beats really do nothing for me. Future is the name, bro. That what did the thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say, bro. That's all I gotta say.
I gotta listen to the song. I'll report to you guys next week because
Yeah,
wow.
Hey, before we report next week, you gotta text me and tell me what you think about the song before you just
I'll
send me
probably try to listen to
emojis.
it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You said I just sent you emojis?
I say just send me an emoji. How you feel about the song? Man,
Oh, I can't wait to report back, guys. I might have to listen to this like 2 or 3 times just to make sure I'm not tripping. And I'm not just going off your hate the first time. You get what I'm saying, B?
it's no hate, man. It's no hate, bro.
It's just the truth, B?
This authentic
Maybe these are
thoughts,
the
right?
difficult conversations, B. Where we
That's the
actually have to
difficult
start
conversation.
talking about the truth.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start back having my conversations. I just haven't been too motivated, bro. And like when I have those conversations, I like to, because it's somebody I want to get on, but you know what I mean. I'm just gonna chill right now. But wait till I get moving. Wait till I get to moving and getting all this stuff, because I'm already. Hey, B, when I get in that room, get in my space, I'm cooking some of you niggas, man. I'm cooking some of these people, B. I have to, though. I'm sick of it.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sick
be
of
here
it.
for it. Popcorn in
Hey,
hand. I can't
Hey,
wait.
I had J. Cole and I got some more on my list. I might take out the whole Dreamville next.
Boy about to be a bounty hunter. He just got a list of people.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm gonna be in
hey,
the
B, they on the wall when you cook up?
hey B. I'm gonna be on the ground. I'm gonna be in the trees just like smoke on the center, bro. I'm gonna lay them out like they the KKK. You know what I'm saying, man? Then try to
This
roll
boy-
my cigarette afterward. No, man. I'm gonna stop yapping right now. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill.
Hey, hey, like I told you guys, I'm gonna report back next week, and I'm gonna let y'all know the real. You know what I'm
Dang, I should
saying?
have told you. I should have sent that to you. I'm like, yo, listen to this jig.
I was
Did you
thinking
see?
about listening to it,
You
but
saw
I
people
was,
talk about it on the timeline?
of course, they was hyping it
Yeah.
up. They was hyping it
I,
up. Oh, this new Jid album is gonna be so good.
yeah.
Me in
Hey,
my
they
head, I'm
hyped
like,
it.
y'all say this about everything about Jid. Jid can
They
literally
hyped.
sneeze. Oh my gosh, I can't wait until this album.
Yeah, they hyped it up from February midnight. I ain't heard nothing else. Everything else was crickets afterward.
This man is diabolical, and I love it.
Oh, brother.
But B, this is the end of the show. You got any final thoughts before we head out?
My final thoughts, man, is be real and be authentic, bro. I just think that a lot of these people be fake on here. And I noticed the internet, nobody's really trying to be themselves. They try to be a over amplified version of themselves sometimes. But hey, bro, we here to have authentic thoughts and authentic talks. So that's all I gotta say. Be real.
I like that, B. I like
Mhm.
that. Hey, I agree, man. If y'all haven't, go see Sinners. And then let's actually talk about the music. I'm tired of just seeing Kendrick on my timeline. I'm tired of seeing just Drake on my timeline. I'm
Mhm.
tired of seeing both of the Negroes on my timeline. They not dropping no music. They all doing something else. And y'all just talking about stuff outside factors of the music itself.
Mhm.
I'm just tired of it, B. And I'm tired of people just having to pick a side. Certain people like Screwface Gene and just having to play it
Mhm.
up. I ought to tell Tariq
Goofy.
Nasheed on him, but you
Get
know
him
what I'm
out the
saying?
culture, B.
Hey, B, he not even from the
Hey,
culture, B.
he
Hey,
a
he one of them
vampire, B?
vampires,
He
B.
a
Hey, he
vampire?
is. Hey, he is. Boy talked about a Mount Olympus reaction. See, that's how I know you not. You not from this. You
Hold
not
up, bro.
from this.
What's the vampire name, bro? Remick? He Remick me?
Hey, screw Remick? Screw
Remick?
Remick?
Hey, man, we gotta hit it with some silver or something, bro. Hit him upside the head with a guitar.
Now
You
you
know what I
gotta no,
mean?
you just actually have to hit him with some actual culture, some authenticity. He start melting me. That's how you kill him, me. You just hit him with that authenticity. I'm just saying, man.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
that's been another episode of Beyond Beauty Culture. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button and check our social links down in the description down below. My name is Chase Dark Sage.
I'm T.
Peace.
Peace.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.